Oh, yeah, we're over in Tennessee now, so uh, just getting used to this. Still getting used to this shit over here.
Yeah, that that's gonna be a bit of adjustment. What part of Tennessee?
About an hour and a half south of Nashville, about 30 minutes from the Alabama border.
Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome to another great episode of Bunkai's Corner. I'm host Bunkei. With me, I have Visor and Jim. And how you guys doing tonight?
Solid.
Solid. All right. Good to hear. Uh, I guess I'll start with the elephant in the room. Um, yeah, another mass shooting, and I was on my way to pick up some Chinese food, and I haven't, I was on the listening to radio and talk radio, and they were talking to one of the fathers of the victims, um, and all he said was, my it's like this is uh, his name is Cody, and he's my firstborn, and I have to admit, I got a lump in my throat, um, and it's something I keep on saying. No parent should ever have to bury their own child, um,
Mhm.
especially under uh, that type of situation. So but I wanted to like approach this particular topic with a little different point of view instead of just talking about the tragic and the senselessness of it. Um, there is one thing that they can do, the investigators can do, to it won't change anything, obviously, and I can't even say that it will improve the disposition of the victims' families. But so I understand this Marine served um, in the he served in the Marines from 2010. I think they said as a machine gunner, and I think that they owe it to the families of the victims to find out what happened over there. Because I might be jumping the gun, poor choice of words,
Yeah.
um, but it's you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that that tour had nothing to do with this. Uh, the people that know him says he was angry. So what got him angry? And somebody might just say, "Hey, that's war." Okay, if you're gonna be okay now, when one of your relatives or close friends is killed by someone like this, let's just go back to those words. Oh, it's just war. Are we really gonna be that dismissive? And I know that probably they won't really want to delve into that, but his CO, the unit he served in, somebody knows something.
Yeah, they have a lot of documents on all the people that go in and do service, especially if you have a negative disciplinary record, or not negative, but if you have something that draws more attention, then they make an effort to try and document it to cover their asses later. Sadly, that's the main reason why they do it, but it's true.
I just want to add that we, when you go in the service of any kind, whether it be Army, Air Force, and whatever, they can pull up every little speck of hospital time you have. This was the true for the case for me because when after high school, I was looking going into the Navy for medical, and while they were willing to accept me for whatever, they knew that I had a previous spine injury and that discounted for me. However, they don't really pay attention, especially the Marines doesn't really pay attention to anything regarding mental health. They don't do very strong mental health screenings, and it's pretty apparent what kind of person is usually attracted to the
That
Marines
that's
in the
that's
first place.
fucking bullshit. I mean, not just your statement is bullshit. I'm saying that the fact that they don't track that, to me, they should track that before physical injuries. That should be
I
number
agree.
one.
Especially, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that. Like, if you're going into uh into battle or a combat or whatever, especially that, I mean, war changes people. I mean, in every generation. Um, what happens between generations, though, is I think is a question, because we had people who come back from World War II was considered the war to end all wars, and not end up in the same percentage of violent crimes or negative outcomes that we have now, and that we track that, I think, a little. I don't know. I don't with rose-colored glasses. I mean, like, in this day and age where we talk about mental health and everything, why we need to start asking the question, why is it different when the combat is different, the experience is different in between the two wars? Because there's definitely a discrepancy in that.
Yeah, and again, this again, where the media and the government obviously is this. I don't think this is by accident that this is not getting coverage. No one ever wants to talk about the dark side of military service. I don't. When you kill someone, even in the most defensible situations, where it's either you or him or her, that changes you. You are no longer the same person anymore, even in the most defensible of situations. And now I read on CNN. I didn't read up on it, but there was a topic on CNN that said that he saw a mental health expert in April. Well, I guess whatever happened there wasn't effective, and and this will continue happening until uh, people realize that when you go in a combat situation, there is a point of no return. That's a point of no return, and people don't realize they don't. The people talk about the ultimate sacrifice, giving your life. Yeah, but when you give your life, you're not you're not a threat of harming others, you know. But what if they don't give up their life and they come back an angry individual? And it's basically just patchwork. I mean, there's supposed to be programs out there to help veterans, but
No,
gathering
they get treated worse than immigrants.
right, which boggles the mind. I mean, on one hand, you get you lose your mind when someone takes a knee. On the other hand, supporting the people that went over there,
No, yeah, they don't give a fuck. Look at what Saturday Night Live did last week. They made fun of the guy who was running in Texas who lost his eye in a bomb while serving our country, and they took a pot shot at him because it's a liberal fucking shit. Like, that's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. But it's okay to do that though, because he wears a red tie versus the blue tie. It's just fucked. It's all fucked.
And if just to further that point, I mean, back when John Kerry was running for president, it was a faux pas to even criticize his service at all, regardless of what tie you wore. And I think in even this short amount of time, that's changed so much based on sensationalism and the pile of bullshit we built up in the modern media on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then when John McCain died, look at the people that were like on the more liberal side that were saying, "Oh, John McCain, what a war hero, what a good human being, this, that, and the other." These are the same people that said some of the most heinous and horrible things about him and his family when he was like in the running for office. It's like none of it's fucking sincere, and if you fall for it, you're a mark. That's the only word for it.
Pretty much. I mean, I almost would have more respect for them if they continue
they
the
stuck with it and
attacks.
said, "Yeah, fuck this guy."
Right.
Yeah, I
as
would too,
opposed
but they
to
don't because
yeah.
it's fake. It's just Orange Man is bad. Can't have Orange Man.
Well, I mean, it comes down to the fact that we allow ourselves to get swept up into this shit, and at the end of the day, critical thinking will always get pushed aside for how much of your own team, basically, if you're a Democrat or Republican, how much of your own political party, how much of their cock you can cram down your gullet. So it comes down to the simple fact of being able to say, hey, no, this is not okay, no matter who you are, what you are. And you're unable to do that in this day and age without being classified as either a anti-patriot or you're a hate monger or whatever it is. It's quite frankly retarded. I actually think retards have more sense than a lot of people commenting on this because they're able to solve simple processes while we are not. And it's pretty sad.
Yeah. And but I still just going back to the original point, I think that the investigators owe those families an explanation as to what happened. Because
where's the line then? Where's the line then? And now I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Mhm.
What about the people that live in like Iran and Saudi Arabia, or that kind of area of the world, when we were dropping drones, or you were using drones to bomb the shit out of them, and we were killing effectively way more civilians than anybody else? Where is the justice for those people? They're equally as innocent, but it's just, again, it's swept under the rug. And because gun control is like the key, like the hot topic, rather, or it has been in America for years, that's why it's being talked about. But like, that's fucked up. Like, we're never going to get to the point where a tragedy is always going to be justified, because it's always going to be, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And it's not right. People are fucked up. People are going to kill people. It's not. I mean, it sounds like really hard and cold, rather, not hard. It sounds cold, but that is what it is, dude. And
Well,
it's
I
just, it's
mean,
fucked.
actually, we talked about this. This is a few shows ago, but do you remember we was talking about that when we were talking about um the protest, the kneeling, and how I made a comment that maybe if you're Vietnamese American or Japanese American or Iraqi American or Afghani American, you may not appreciate what the U.S. military has done to your family.
No.
And this is a thing about, again, maybe you don't want to stand and honor the military that killed off your family, and again, that this is the dark side of the military that we don't talk about. It's always been put on a pedestal, and while I'm sure that I will get lit up if this show was more popular by people that say, how dare you, but until, I mean, the one thing that's missing in this world besides love, empathy. Until you're in their shoes, you'll never understand. You'll never understand, and unless you, in fact, unless you were there, you won't understand.
And let me step back into that role of Darth Visor. All right. Who gives a fuck? And why I say that is because everything that, let's take the Japanese Americans, for example, in World War II.
Yeah, the internment camps.
Yeah. Does that situation suck for them? Absolutely. But you can't tell me with a straight face that there wasn't a bit of logic in it. It wasn't like we were wantonly, we had you hear this with back in the Bush regime a lot, about national security. Well, that's the truth. They fucked us up. They straight up fucked us up where we didn't expect it. Now, we had an entire population of people who were potential threats. Yeah, internment camps, they're shitty. Would I want to be in an internment camp? No. But fuck if I'm going to let some other country infiltrate my country and run amok. Fuck them.
True.
It's war.
But but I'm sure that you already know that that is a very slippery slope.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and that goes down a road. You know, you're talking about the line between preserving your country and turning into a tyrant. And
We
I
have
mean,
no responsibility to anybody who are not American. And you have people even back then, and this is the dirty truth that a lot of people, and especially universities, don't like to talk about. You had a very loose immigration policy back then, very loose, and you
Still
could
very
come over.
loose.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was even less regulated because no one could possibly foresee what it's become now. Now, easily could someone get either through shipping and receiving or stowawaying or anything like that over to Hawaii from Japan easily, because everyone pays attention to the big border of the South. You can't tell me that it wasn't within the government's rights to protect its sovereignty by doing that. Now, what we have now compared to what we have back then to make that more efficient is better information systems, better intelligence, even though we don't use it. We have all that to apply that to where our situation is now, whether it's Mexico, whether we have people coming in from the Middle East. We have all that right now. We choose not to listen to it half the time because of politics, because of sensationalism. But the simple fact of the matter is, if we don't shut that shit down, we're open to getting kicked in the nads. There's no doubt about it. You can't argue that. Now, what the question is, you have to ask yourself, how much do you personally want to allow? What do you want? An open border where everyone can get back and forth all the time? If you do, I have to call you out. You're a retard on so many levels. You have to be able to regulate the sovereignty of your nation to protect your citizens. That's what the government, afforded to by the Constitution, is supposed to do. Not be involved in every day of our lives. It is supposed to have a duty to its citizens to protect them. And if you have an open border, your government is failing based on that Constitution alone.
So okay, I got and again, I'm not Japanese American, so using it. So I mean, I'm sure there's probably someone who can do a better argument than what I'm trying to do. So let me just start off by saying that first. But the only response I can give to the point you're making is, okay, of course, devil's advocate, right? You're a devil's advocate. Like, I'm like, bitch, I was born here. Or how would you respond? I'm just asking you. I'm not saying that that's the point. That's my view. But how would you respond to a Japanese American who says, "Yeah, I understand that, but do you understand that I was born here? I've never set foot in Japan."
Right, but and I'm telling you, that was the times, because we did not have the networking that we have now. We were very much in an isolationist nation, too much to our detriment, I would think, because we didn't have the international networking that we have now. And Japan was very much an isolationist nation. So we had two people who did not want to talk to each other even before the war and before the tension. We're all doing our own little thing. And we had no way to keep track of who was going in and out of the country at an efficient level. We had no idea. So in the essence of caution, we had to do what we had to do. Now, the difference now is that we have that. What we don't have is a developed country in Mexico. It's not a first world country. It's barely holding on maybe to the second run if you're an optimist. And the level of corruption in that government, we don't have a reliable source of information.
So let me say, can I point? That was going to be my second question. But by the way, thank you for answering the question. But my second question is, and this is where you tell where the corruption has stretched far and wide of the Mexican drug cartels and everything, is we've invaded Iraq under, and there are people who argue that Mexico is even worse off. And it really is the Wild West. Now you can say, people. I'm not saying that Saddam Hussein was a great guy and all of that. I'm pretty sure he was a bad dictator and all of that going forward. But when we talk about immigration, the question we talked about this in the last show, Visor, is that they always talk about we're not going to let people into our country. Da, 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 da. Yeah, but everyone's never asking why are they coming here, because they're trying to get away from shit that's not really working very well. Let's just put that mildly, right? Or in some places, it really is the fucking Wild West down there. I'm like, I've had, customers who told me that two customers who went down to Mexico and they went outside of the place where you're not supposed to go, and they felt like they was in a bad situation. They called the cops, and the cops robbed them.
Well, yeah. I mean, that goes back to not being able to properly vet people coming over, because you don't know who their connections are and how deep the corruption goes. I mean, you would have to assume that it goes to the very top.
Exactly. Cartels. That was my whole time. My whole point is, because I think that I can make a more defensible argument to invade Mexico than Iraq.
Fuck them. Go for it.
I mean, seriously.
I'm half Mexican. I don't give a shit.
Right? No, but you understand my point, though. I'm like, fuck the weapons of mass destruction. Like, we got a immigration problem that is a risk, a risk of national security and also local and state security and crime and all of that. I can make an argument that, okay, apparently whatever's going down there ain't working. So we're gonna go down there. We're gonna install some martial law until they can start acting right. Now it's like, to me, I feel like that you can make a better argument for invading Mexico than Iraq.
I guarantee you will have a bloodier war doing that than you've ever had in Afghanistan or Iraq.
I'm not saying it won't be blood. I'm just saying, well, you know what? Well, yeah, because it'll be war, because you'll be declaring war on the Mexican drug cartels, and they will make you pay. They will make you pay. But you know what? It will never get to that point, because the corruption, as you just said, goes to the top. They're never going. No politician that wants to keep his job and his life and his family would ever suggest the idea of invading Mexico.
And wants to keep his bank account, more importantly.
Yeah, keep his bank account, right. But if some guy gonna have cotton and wants to be the savior of all humanity, to start to, that ain't gonna happen. I'll be the first to tell you. I was just saying that you can make a better argument in invading Mexico than for Iraq, and I just think it's interesting that this immigration problem, the root of the problem, never gets discussed. They always talking about stopping the people from getting over here, but never talk about why they're trying to come here in the first place.
But I've already stated why that is, because we do not have the responsibility to that country. We have a responsibility to our own country. It comes down to that, just flatly.
But it looks like that our fates are intertwined, because apparently if you don't interfere, this problem will not go away, and it will keep. And it looks like that Mexico either is unwilling or can't fix it.
Nailed it right there. Unwilling.
Okay. You ain't gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it for you.
Yeah, and we know what happens. You know what that's gonna require? Occupation.
I know.
Long term.
I know. It's, you might as well call. There's a joke in American Dad where Stan, there's a future Stan, and they comes back from the future. He's like, yeah, Canada and United States, Mexico, all one country now. But I'm like, fuck yes, Mexico. Yeah, it's gonna be United Mexico of America. You know, it's not gonna be a short term. No, it's gonna be a permanent 51st state.
We are okay. I just want to say real quick, like, we've talked about this before, Ben.
Yeah.
I never talked to Visor about this. You say the USA isn't doing enough to fix it, what could the USA to do to actually fix it? Because I'm very curious because I have counterpoints to all of this because we should not be responsible to fix the problems of other countries when I've defended that because that's ridiculous. We're not world police, but what can we do to actually to curb this problem? Because I can't think of a goddamn thing because without actually overtaking the Mexican government itself or ruling over it in general, then we can't fix it. Even if they wanted to, they can't do it.
Mm-mm.
How? No, how? Tell me how.
Mexican American too. Electric Boogaloo.
There's no reasonable actual way that the USA could fix it unless they literally just closed off everything and did what Trump wants and said fuck this shit. If you want to keep immigration as an option for Mexican people, like the extent that they go to, and it's not even just Mexicans, that's what people don't understand. These are people that come all the way from South America, go through Honduras, and then they come in through Mexico just to get to the United States.
Right.
And you can't do. There's too much shit to just blame it on. Oh, our government doesn't do enough to fix it. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. The government isn't doing enough. I agree, but they can't stop it on their own. Correct. It's fundamental problems with other countries.
Right. So I mean, and that's what brings me to that point where I just made is that okay, they're unwilling or can't. Really, it's both. Unwilling and they can't. Yeah, right. There's so it's really a fucked up situation because they couldn't fix it even if they wanted to, and they don't want to.
Wait, I have to bring up. Do you know how much, whether you believe what side of the fence you came on about the Iraq War? Do you know how much actually goes into this day and age declaring war or having any sort of military operation into another sovereign country? The amount of stupidity you have to go through to do that through the UN and other international agencies.
Oh, yeah. It's not like it used to be.
No. You can't just go, fuck this. Boom. Fuck you, Japan. 1-2 bombs and it's fucked. You can't do that no more. So in order to do that, and the amount of bullshit that Bush had to put out just to invade Iraq,
oh yeah,
you know how much. So let's take that for example.
Right.
You know how much
that is a good example.
You know how much bullshit you would have to do to invade Mexico, a country that hasn't even attacked us formally or had anything to do with attacking us formally. You would literally have to prove that Hitler came back from the dead and took over the government of Mexico to get that done.
So all you'd have to do is basically say that Trump is now president of Hitler or Mexico.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, that'd be easy. It'd basically be an episode of Scooby Doo."
Yeah, no, I know. It's just it's fucking nuts, and I'm with you. Like, it's not the United States' fucking responsibility to do everything for everybody else. Like, it's just fucking not. Like, and we do so much worrying about everybody else. And I'm a fucking first generation immigrant. I was born in Colombia, so I get it. Like, this is fucked. But any country, forget the USA, just like any country, look at what happens when you put other people that weren't, that aren't from there first. The people that are from there, they get fucked the hardest.
Look at Germany.
Have you guys talked about the whole birthright stuff like that?
That's gonna be
that thing where Trump is getting rid of the birthright for if you're not a citizen but you have your kid in America. I mean, I don't even think there's much to talk about. I think that's fair. You shouldn't automatically. If you're on vacation, you shouldn't get.
A lot of us have benefited from that. Me myself, but like, I could totally understand why.
Guys, give me a second. I'm gonna call Trump to take care of this.
It would be
have this.
a deterrent, sort of.
Yeah.
You couldn't just come over here, fucking get a baby, and just stay here anymore.
Well, that's my dad. That's straight up my dad.
Yeah.
And I would say my dad himself would say if he had a choice, he would help build the wall. And if he would send him back to Mexico, at least he knows all those motherfuckers are going with him. So that, I mean, yeah, it's not fair. You are by having lax immigration laws or having lax, I'm not saying you should make it more difficult for people to legally immigrate to the country. That would be retarded. But I am asking for more stringent illegal immigration laws, because you are destroying, and especially if you look at California, you are destroying a lot of the infrastructure you have to help support even the citizens of the United States that need help through Social Security, through assistance, through that. You have more people who shouldn't even be in the pool in that pool. And you are really just pissing it in the wind when it comes helping your own citizens, even because the left side of the hall likes to say having more programs and more support for those who need, you are really hurting them in the long run. There is only so much of the pie to go around. So no matter what argument you make, you have to look at it like that. You have to look and say what's best for the actual American citizen, not what's best for the Mexican citizen that comes over the border, or the Honduran, or the Guadalajara. Who cares? Yeah. It doesn't matter. You have to serve Americans first. That is your job as a government, as the American government specifically. If you say, "Hey, shit," and if this is true for California especially, a lot of places aren't accepting Medicare, or the state-run Medi-Cal or whatever, because they're already don't cover the cost of covering the labor, the supplies and everything. They cover like 66-point-something% of the actual costs. Now you have people who are not even American citizens able to dip into that pool, over flooding it, making sure that the cost from the taxpayer is too high. Now we have more people who actually need it because they can't afford anything because the taxes are so fucking high to pay for that shit. You're all pissing in the wind when you do that. You have to get it done the right way. And that is only by serving people who are protected by the Constitution, American citizens.
But
in other words, fuck them.
I understand that, but at the same time, there's never going to be anybody who is going to address the real problem. And so therefore,
actually, we have someone addressing the real problem right now. The problem is now we just split the government up so bad that nothing is going to get done over the next 2 years, and everybody's going to be jacking off in the House of Representatives and the Senate.
So it's going to be the same as it always is.
Yeah, that's what. You know what? There was a funny comment. There was a funny analyst. I don't know what. I forgot where I saw him on. If it was Fox or CNN, he made a great. I don't know if he was just a comedian pretending to be an analyst. He's like, after carefully reviewing the election results and seeing the houses. I'm sorry. See the seats in the House and the Senate. I have come to the conclusion that nothing's going to change. Good night, folks. I mean, it's just, I mean, and it was just, it was just, exactly. I mean, there's nothing is ever going to get done. It's, I always keep on, I always get mad around, midterms and elections, is because people always tell me, vote. And that's beat me. And people be beating me on the head. You got to vote. For who? You got to vote for the lesser of the two evils. Motherfucker, there is no such thing as a lesser of two evils.
Thank you, Bunk.
2020.
I've been saying this for as long as I can remember in IRC about there's no lesser of two evils.
And the thing about it though is that especially when we're talking about the presidential election, and where were you doing social studies? Did you guys not take the civics course and understand how the Electoral College works? My vote here in Washington State does not mean jack shit.
Try being a conservative from Northern California.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Try to be in New York State.
But people don't know that. I bet if you took a poll and asked, does your vote count towards the president candidate? People yeah, it does. No, it does not.
I mean, look at maps, especially when you come to representatives and I think even senators now are kind of, there needs to be change in numbers and how numbers are done. But especially with representatives, you have a massive amount of representatives in like highly populated areas in the Southern California, especially. But you have no one representing anything anywhere else other than LA and the Bay Area, what they really need.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
it's
not, it's a joke. It's an incredibly bad one.
And the whole get out to vote program that was going on this year about shit is full of shit. They don't really care about you voting. They care about voting for what they want. If you don't want to vote for what they want, fuck them. They don't go to vote. Don't go to the vote. Actually, they want you to fucking be victims of violence. They want you, if you're a liberal, to disassociate yourself with family who might be Republican or whatever. And it's just all a ploy. It's all a really sensationalist ploy that will just further continue to divide us and make us look retarded on a world stage. I mean, it's just pathetic. The United States of America is pathetic. It is not a great country. It hasn't been a great country, I would say, for the last, let's see, when did Lyndon B. Johnson come in the 63, 64? It hasn't been a great country for almost 50 something years. So
what's a great country then right now?
There's no good country. They're all shit. The world is shit.
No. I can't look at it. I'm a pessimist too, man. But like, you have to look at things in perspective. The way that, yeah, this country is bullshit, but only if you pay attention to bullshit. If you just go out and you work really hard and you ignore all of this crap and you don't live on social media and you just live your life,
right,
99% of the time, literally, it's around that number. You're gonna be just fine. You compare that to other places, and it's fucking trash. So this place, like, I shit on the government, I shit on the fucking media. There's a lot of shit I don't like about the USA, but compared to 99% of the world, this is a great country. I will say that.
Right, but it's like being to kind of make an analog towards sports. It's kind of like being the Dodgers. It's kind of it's
yeah, but that would mean that there's a team that's a lot better. That's obviously better and never choke. So I get what you're saying, and I'll play along into the thing with you. But you nobody can name a better place. Where's a better place?
I'm not saying there's a better place. I'm saying that we're not great because we're not achieving the greatness that we can be, and that we have been in history. I'm not comparing it to other countries. I'm comparing it to ourselves.
Well, and again, it also depends on, that bar. I mean, because the thing about it though is that, where do you set the bar in comparison to other? Jim is right. Compared to other countries, I would never want to live anywhere else but the United States.
Well,
that. Oh, go ahead.
The United States was never that. I mean, in the retrospect, the only time it was really great was when there was war, and we were rebuilding after economic crisis.
Do you not remember the end of the 1800s? Like, I mean, no one does because we've all been dead. But the Industrial Revolution in America, I mean, and before this, is one of the bad problems.
People children died on the backs.
Yeah,
but we did what it had to do to advance. We are no longer advancing. We are going backwards. Oh, it's not even an argument. We are slowly devolving into a mass of sensationalist media and sensationalism and just riding the wave. We are no longer pushing forward. We're no longer, making the advancements that we have.
Visor, but this is the second argument where you're almost saying that the ends justify the means. And
do you know how much of Western civilization is based on that?
I know. You won't get an argument from me, but but you also understand that's the cry of the tyrant. Almost every person always will tell you
we don't deserve democracy. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve a democratic republic.
You are definitely Darth Visor. My God, even Vader be like, shit.
The state of the common American mind right now, we do not deserve it. period.
Even Vader
Because
get up
we
and
don't
go,
even
"Damn."
exercise our supposed freedom to inform ourselves anymore. We're so fucking lazy mentally that we decide whatever is the chic thing, or whether we take one general idea that we don't like and we absorb all the fucking sensationalist bullshit around it, whether you're conservative or liberal. That's what we do. Instead of pulling apart and dissecting everything as we should, as we can do, and it's because we're fucking a brilliant people when we want to be. We decide not to. So we spit on every idea of a democratic republic. We spit on every idea of a democracy, and we choose to just fucking become an abortive mass of flesh and blood and uselessness. We do not live up to our potential as a country or as an individual citizen of this country. We fucking are trash.
You won't get an argument from me that critical thinking is missing in this day and age, and people are losing their ability to, as you said, to dissect what they're being told. And because nowadays, I mean, again, I'm not just nowadays, but when something appears on a major news outlet, people automatically assume it's true, and they don't understand that information can be manipulated. And people also have to understand, this is where the critical thinking comes in. I can tell you a fact that will lead to a lie, because I could tell you a fact without context that will lead you to the wrong conclusion. In fact, gun control is a major example of that.
Right. No one believes that two things can be true at once.
Yeah.
They have to think there's an absolute truth, and that's never the case. Never. And like we say with gun control, they say that there's, you have to either ban guns completely, or you have to have a complete, like some of the crazier people of the NRA have to think, there should be no regulation on guns whatsoever, or deregulation on everything pretty much. And that's a bad look. So you can't have just one absolute truth in this world anymore. That shit was terrible for the Catholic Church even back in the 1500s, and it's terrible for us now. I mean, you have to be able to say, this situation is here, this situation is here. Let's best apply solutions through collaborative thinking and critical thinking, not this fucking embargo on mental faculties.
So I want to well, here's the thing. When you're talking about people thinking collaboratively, etc., but that's not what we just got through talking about. That's not what we really teach. We teach that you inhale and just eat up everything that is fed to you through the media, and we
teach identity politics.
Yeah, and I honestly, I find that we really need. By the way, Visor, this is another show that you missed. The whole debate about gun control. I'll link you later, but there's an article. This dude who's not a gun nut, never made a thing in his life. All he did was download the program, got some materials, and a 3D printer, and he was able to make the body of an AR-15.
Sure.
A ghost gun, because it has no serial number. So to me, I think the whole argument about buying and selling guns, I think that's becoming a moot point, because eventually, even if it doesn't happen now, even though it is happening now, but even if it takes a couple years to happen, eventually we are get to the point where you don't need to buy a gun; you can just make one.
You think you need all that technology to make a gun?
No,
colleges are teaching
I'm just
right now.
You just need the technology to make it where the everyday person can do it. That's the whole point.
That hard to make
but yeah, and for the people been making guns forever, now we're getting to the point where now all it takes is a program. You just press the start button, and it makes you a body of an AR-15 because everything else is not considered part of the gun. That's an accessory. So you buy the rest of it. And he's like, I assembled it in 15 minutes. I never made nothing in my life. And this dude has a fully functional AR. I think that this whole argument about gun control is going often to the wrong direction because this is what's going to become the reality.
Okay, defend yourself. Throw it up.
3D printed guns right now are like absolute shit. You can't really do anything with those right now.
No, I'm not.
Let me put a little truth on you right now. AR-15 is actually shit. It is actually
dangerous weapons.
The AR you can do way worse than an AR-15.
There's no point of like this 3D printed gun argument at all. It's so easy to get it already. Like
now, you understand that I am not talking about 3D printed guns. I am talking about this guy who's a journalist was able to get the materials from this local hardware store and used a program and for lack of a better word, a machine that was able to fully create the body of the gun out of the slab of aluminum he got.
Give me a paint roller, or aerosol can, and a lighter, and I can make you a flamethrower.
You know,
well, I mean, people make fucking bombs from like rice cookers and shit.
Exactly. But
like,
what I'm
so easy.
What right? What I am talking about though is not the fact that people can make guns in their houses. What I'm talking about is that we are getting to the point where the technology has afforded that you can do so with very little know-how.
Yeah.
And that's the part. Change. That's the part. Yes, you can make guns out of. I mean, you can make explosives out of pots. I understand that, but not everybody has that know-how. But
I mean that was like the argument back in the day when I think it was like late 90s maybe or something, when people were worried about the internet and kids being able to make pipe bombs from the fucking internet. And it's like, okay, I mean, yeah, the information is out there for a lot of shit that you can do, whether it's making a new type of arsenic or whatever, readily available. It's not going to change.
No, but what I'm saying though is that in this case, this journalist got a machine that made the gun for him. Not, I'm not. It carved out and everything, to a T. It was exact, perfect.
So what's your solution?
I'm not saying there is none. I'm not. No. I'm just saying though that we're reaching that point that technologically speaking, that you can just download a program and grab a machine, and the machine will make the thing for you. I'm not talking about pre-printed 3D gun because those are shit. But now, if you can buy a program or get a program and get a machine, and it can carve you out a gun, for lack of a better term,
okay,
and it can do poof, and that's it. And you have an AR-15. Yeah, man, I think you got a problem.
Humans are always going to figure out two things with new technologies.
Of course.
How to fuck it and how to kill it.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any change of that until the end of time. I mean, there's
no argument there. I'm just saying though that the argument about where you buy your gun from. By the way, it's I think is that eventually, I think that as we head into the future here, in a very short term future, I should say, that's going to become a moot point. About when, because like just now they passed a law here in Washington. It just passed this past Tuesday, where you have to be 21 to buy a military, quote unquote, military style weapon. So there's just one problem, and I don't understand why no one brought this up over debates. So what if I order it from out of state?
Or in California, you can't even own an AR-15 or purchase one, but if you buy the parts and ship it over state lines, they can't stop you. I mean, I'm saying what
I'm saying is I don't understand what the state law. I mean, what it does, because if I'm intending to do harm and I want an AR-15 and you pass this law, great, I'll just order one.
Bunk. You know what? The people that are doing most of the things already have ways to get guns. Through illegal methods, and it's like even places that are completely banned guns.
Of course,
yeah.
That's
It's
all
gonna
that.
happen.
I mean, and no, I just didn't understand the whole point of this state law because this will do zero to stop anyone from buying an AR-15.
So you're telling me and let me see if I get this right, that the U.S. government makes a law that is completely ineffective, and we're surprised about it.
No,
Like,
no, I'm saying that the state government spent all this money and everything to get this initiative out to stop people from buying, to stop AR-15s when you can just order it out of. I'm like, I don't get it. You can order it out of and have it delivered to your house and not buy in Washington State, and the law is totally ineffective. So I'm actually not talking about the U.S. government. I'm talking about the state government coming up with a law.
That's the reason why is
absolutely-
because it now becomes it becomes under federal jurisdiction if it crosses state lines. I mean, the state has no power with that.
Right. So what was the point of enacting this law that can be easily bypassed?
It cuts off one route. That's about it. That's literally like dropping a drop in a bucket. I mean,
right. It does effectively. I mean, if someone wants to intend harm, nothing really. It doesn't really. It doesn't really. I mean, okay, they can't go down to their local gun store and do it. I guess, but why do I have a feeling that they probably wouldn't have done that anyway? But
I mean, you can't. It's hard to regulate the internet too. I mean,
I'm just saying that this all this time and money spent on this particular ballot did nothing to address the problem that you wanted to address.
right. Just like how in California, Miss Nancy Pelosi spent $300 million on figuring out why the rat population in San Francisco was decreasing, when it turns out people were eating rats because they're fucking broke. I mean, I'm just not surprised by this shit anymore. I'm not. There's no for the last 50 years. I mean, I would say maybe even sooner, like maybe since after Eisenhower, there has been a constant stream of this shit. Like, it's been year after year making these laws, restrictive laws, and then people finding a way around it and everything. And they've come to where we are now, where it's just fucking flailing our dick in the wind. It's just.
But Visor, I kid you not. I was just about to take a forkful of my Chinese food. And I'll put that down. I want to switch. I want to switch to a slightly more happier topic. Well, not happier, but a funnier topic. Okay. Okay. I'm going to ask you guys, since I'm glad I have you guys on here. So we were talking about, we had a heated discussion at work. Now here's the thing: women and breastfeeding.
Okay.
While people are now, here's the thing. Everyone thinks of breastfeeding as, oh yeah, that's kind of, if you're a teenage boy, you'd be like, oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool, man. I'd be something. Not when the bitch is 350 pounds. And
right, that's a twist.
I mean, and the titties look like clabbered milk frozen over. I do not want to see that shit when I'm at a table eating. So they like, no, that's okay. You know what? People like, it's a natural process. Okay, do you know what? I'm a gay man. I want to suck dick at a table. I'm gonna suck dick, and then he's gonna bust it out all over my face. I'm gonna sit there and I'll say, "This is natural. It's a natural physiological response."
As far as that, like, I'm the worst person. I think I know what you're about to ask, and I think I'm the worst person to ask this because I worked in a lot of medical facilities in my time, and this shit does not bother me, like, in the slightest. Like,
okay, it doesn't
really
bother
hard
you.
for me to gross me out.
Oh, okay, Jim, you're up.
I don't know. Like, I don't care. I never have cared, but
okay, that bitch in the wheelchair.
I think no. Hold on. Let me finish my thought. So
okay.
Here's where it comes down to it like this. I can understand feeling the way that you feel about it. I think it is, depending on the situation. Obviously, not everybody's a fucking perfect 10 model. It's not like you're gonna find all these gorgeous women doing this shit. But at the same time, it's like also a lot of people that I saw, they at least tried to hide it a little bit. And it's not like, and I think it's over exaggerating. Maybe it's just because you live in a piece of fucking shit area where people just don't give a fuck anymore. But even in San Diego, dude, people would breastfeed all the time out in public, but they would use a little blanket to cover it up. Like you could clearly tell what was happening, but you couldn't see it at restaurants because that is just what it is. So yeah. I get both sides of that argument. It's a tough one because it's a lose-lose. But to compare it to you sucking a dude's dick in at a fucking restaurant, fuck no, I disagree with that 100%. I think that is fucked.
No, because no. Now you understand that I'm not talking about those who are being they're being discreet.
So where do you draw the line? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, what is the line?
Do you ever go to Walmart?
I'm like, if you're not gonna be discreet about it,
shop at Walmart.
You need to be a 10.
I worked at Walmart, I see some shit.
You need to be a 10 model. If you're not gonna be discreet, you need to be a 10 model. I do not want to see like that bitch in the wheelchair. That picture that.
All right, motherfucker, I'm gonna call you out right now. I'm gonna call you right now.
The Skeletor G girl.
Yeah, imagine her breastfeeding at the fucking Olive Garden. At the Olive Garden.
No, stop it.
Well, okay. If Isaac, go ahead and light me up. What you got?
I'm gonna light you up. If you're gonna decide what's 10 on a female as a gay man, why the fuck should I listen to you?
I'm not saying me. I'm not saying I need to be the one doing the judging.
You literally said you.
Okay.
You did.
Let me
you
rephrase.
Did, he got you.
Let me rephrase. Let me rephrase. That I think that that a heterosexual man should be able to make the detection like, no, bitch, you too damn fat and ugly to sitting there being so undiscreet and breastfeeding. I'm like, I don't know if you can call that breastfeeding. I see a baby with his mouth around something that looked like it came out of the poltergeist. No, you cannot breastfeed here. Get the fuck out, and I should not get sued.
Well, you shouldn't get sued because it's your business.
I mean, no. I'm just, but that's what I meant. I mean, I'm not saying I should be one doing the judging, but I think there should be someone there doing the judging and says, no, bitch, you can't do that.
I mean, I would have a really hard time drawing that line.
I couldn't draw that line. I couldn't.
No. I don't think it's that hard. I don't think
do.
It's that hard. I bet I can show you 10 random pictures. You'd be like, yes, no, yes, no, hell fucking no.
But
burn it.
I don't know, man. But I don't know. That's not a good way to look at.
It's not like she's
like that.
Walking with the kid hanging off the titty or anything like that.
I don't want to. But it should not be like out where it's just like she just out. I'm like, I don't want to see that. Do you understand what I'm talking about? I'm talking about Jabba the Hutt.
Okay. I'll play super devil's advocate. Fuck that. Let's play super devil's advocate.
I'm talking about Jabba the Hutt doing.
So go into the South, like the deep South, because I lived around there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You go into the deep South and you see two dudes making out at a fucking table to these people, and they're gonna feel even more strongly about how they shouldn't be allowed to do that in public at a restaurant while they're trying to eat than what you feel about breastfeeding. It just goes to say, fucking people are different. Everything's fucked. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. And it's hard to draw a line.
I can answer that. If that bitch in that wheelchair is not breastfeeding, look like Jabba the Hutt, I don't mind that we can't, two men can kiss. I think that's a fair trade.
Hey, a man and a woman should not be kissing in public.
Fine.
Motherfucker, no. No.
That's a fair trade.
So if I have to bring up a story from the past, this is someone who's experienced the abyss known as the death cooter. Okay? So I don't think it's that big of a deal if they're like, you got the fucking parka or whatever the fuck it is, on your chest and shit. And your baby, even if you're fucking looking like, you're melting in the fucking sun and shit, it don't matter. What does matter to me is how you carry yourself while doing it. Like, if you're fucking having 4 or 5 kids run around, and this is coming from the South, okay? This is coming from the South, and what I've seen in fucking living here. If you have 4 or 5 kids that are fucking random states of fucking how much clothes they have on, and a fucking Chick-fil-A, fucking breastfeeding your fucking 8th baby, yeah, you need to fucking have some fucking decorum. You can't just expect to throw your shit everywhere and not expect people to be fucking annoyed by that shit. Now, if you're just sitting there minding your own goddamn business, everything is behaved right and everything, and you got your fucking little horse blanket on your chest or where the fuck it is, and you're feeding the whatever fucking generation of hellion you got, motherfucker, I'm gonna leave you alone and go on my day. I don't give a shit.
Okay, I don't mind. I don't mind if it's being discreet and the lady don't look like Jabba the Hutt's sister. I don't mind.
Her looks shouldn't matter.
Huh?
Well, you do mind because you're bringing it up.
She could look like
You're
cracked out.
saying her mind. She could ran over by a car.
Listen, what I'm saying is that if she doesn't look like Jabba's sister and it's not just out there, like what he just said, just like what Visor just gave a great example of that. If there's decorum and discreet, fine. But what I would like, look,
do you think that 90% of the population even knows what the fuck that word means?
No,
I will say no.
No.
I'm going no.
No, listen.
No, I don't think they could spell it. Yeah. I mean, that's classic. You obviously grew up in Northern California.
You know what? So after arguing back and forth, because it was an incident, it was a restaurant near where the bank was that this happened, and the next time I go in, I'm hoping that I have a significant other if this happens, because that's the only way it's gonna work. The next time I go in a restaurant,
okay, but you're fighting fire with fire on a thing that has nothing to do with one of another.
Oh, okay,
it's apples to oranges.
Let me make my point though. Okay, if I come in a restaurant with my significant other, and I see this bitch out here with her 3 titties from Total Recall trying to breastfeed this motherfucker, you know what? I'm gonna sit right next to that heifer and I'm gonna go down on my dude right there in front of hey, okay, you know what? You wanna be be undiscreet. I can be undiscreet too. I'm gonna be undiscreet. That's why I'm gonna pull them pants off. It's like out that shit gonna come out. The whole world gonna get dark,
and you gonna be on a sex offender list, motherfucker.
That's fine.
Do you know that you're basically saying that her looks matter? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
I don't give a shit about her.
Not the fact that she's being. I know that's what I'm trying to say.
Why do I care?
That's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. Just like breastfeeding is normal, dude. It's just normal.
So is blow.
So if some female went down on
so is blow jobs,
and it would be the same fucking blow up. It would be the same fucking blow up. Someone would be on a list, and you would be fucked. It's not the same as giving fucking breastfeeding your kid in public. It's not, even in a heterosexual relationship. It ain't the same. It ain't the same. That is 3 ticks beyond autism. I'm just saying.
3? I'd give it 2.
Well, the puzzle bird only got so many colors. I mean, it just.
Oh, you're lucky. You're lucky we're so tired.
No. This.
I think my wife heard that, and I think she would go off on this topic. I don't even fucking blame her. Not gonna lie to you.
Listen, I'm just saying. As I said, if they had a modicum of decorum, I don't have a problem.
But no, hold up. But
you're trying to say
physical looks.
Huh?
That was your criteria. Was physical looks was your criteria?
Yeah. Well, I take this. No, what I meant. Well, yes. I'm just saying.
You are dying on that hill today.
No. I'm saying though is that if there is no decorum, that bitch better be a 10.
He's saying, "Oh, she's probably really hot."
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if there's
shit. He's doing the classic get your fucking Latina ass girlfriend and you're gonna get stabbed. It's done. I'm taking my headset off. It's just fucking done.
I just don't understand how you can try and say that a woman breastfeeding her child is exactly just as natural, like as a fundamental life needing thing as a gay guy sucking another gay guy's dick.
Okay, it could be a woman.
Like in
Oh,
public.
issue, it is
That's
crazy.
crazy talk. That's fucking crazy talk.
No,
You're
I'm
crazy.
No, I'm saying a woman. I mean, you could be a woman instead of sucking the guy's dick instead of another gay guy. If you want to.
Oh, yeah, and I would still agree with you. I would agree against you. I agree. I would say the same point. I would say that's not as natural whatsoever as feeding your child.
You can just bring a bottle. Bring a
No, you
freaking
can't just
bottle.
bring a bottle. No, because that's, oh my God, you're missing the point. Like, that has nothing to do with it. I can't believe I sound like the social justice warrior on this one. This is unbelievable.
Well, you don't
This is
catch fire.
unbelievable. I cannot
feel,
believe
Jim.
I'm arguing this
No, I
point,
feel,
but
Jim.
fucking you are comparing false equivalencies. You
Do
can't
what-
do that.
I'm
I'm going to
not.
harp on that point.
I am not.
It's a false equivalency. Yes, you
This
are.
is not a false equivalency.
You
It's
know
like
why you don't bring a bottle? You want to know why you don't bring a bottle? Because inside of 6 months, a baby gets most of its antibodies from its mother through breastfeeding.
Fine.
That's
fine.
why you don't bring a bottle for
do it.
most part.
Do
Everything after that is pretty much dealer's choice. I mean, that's
God damn it.
Then let them do
Yeah.
it in a comfortable, hot ass car, but do not do it in the freaking restaurant.
Well, then maybe you should go to a better restaurant then.
I mean,
Motherfucker, I'm calling
apparently,
Trump. Bunker's got to go.
Just go to a different restaurant. If you don't like that, go to a restaurant where they don't allow that. Or go to a restaurant where you don't have to do any of that. I mean, we have all the options in the world. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go anywhere. And if you're that disgusted by something like that, then yeah, just go somewhere else.
You know where
Where
you
you don't have
avoid
to see that.
You're right.
You know what you should do?
Not
I got
Walmart.
No, I got a business proposition for you, Bunk. I got a business proposition. So, you know what? You should create your own place that does this, and you can have the world's first gay bar and grill.
Hey, you know
Go
what?
for
We
it.
talked about
Go
that.
for it.
Hey, we talked about that. We talked about that.
You can't say that though, because aren't there men that are breastfeeding now?
I mean, yes. Hey,
What?
I got it.
That proposition won't even work.
Visor. We talked about that. We was gonna call it blow and grub. So this is how it worked. This is how it worked. You come into a restaurant.
I hope you get Zika.
And there's a dining room area. Instead of chairs, there's a more of a like a love chair type of thing you sit in. You come in a robe, and you lay there. You get some oral attention, and boom goes the dynamite. Then you eat.
That's called prostitution, motherfucker.
What are you talking about? I didn't say you have to pay the person doing it.
You just painted it. You just painted like it was part of the services provided by that particular establishment. That's no different than an Asian massage parlor, mother-fucker.
Wait. You're not understanding me. You don't have to pay the amount. If you want to tip the server, you can. But
if you want the server to suck your dick,
if you
then
just
they
don't
will.
tip the masseuse, you don't get the service, pal. I mean, that's
no.
I'm too tired for this.
No. I'm just saying though, is that don't you think that those two go together well? You go there, you get a great blowjob, you bust a nut, and you get a chance to eat right afterwards.
Do you call $5 footlong? Is that what you call it? Like, what do you like? It's the den for prostitution. You just literally prostitute yourself. You just literally prostituted yourself. You are now a madam. Congratulations, Bunk. You have moved up in the world. There you go.
Madam Bunk.
Listen. I think it's a fantastic idea. And by the way,
it's illegal as fuck.
No, you know what? No, wait. You know what? And we talked about this before. Visor. Let me ask you a question. So it's illegal for me to have that establishment, right? I can fix that. I can fix that in one quick way. All I got to do is have someone rolling a camera. Because at that point, it's illegal.
Because
that makes it even more illegal.
No, it's not. That's porn.
Do you even follow laws?
That's porn.
That's not porn.
That is porn.
That's not how any of this works.
Wait. That how is that not porn? I have a camera. I'm watching
permits and shit to get that shit done.
What?
And you have to have a closed set in most states to shoot porn. And the only two states I believe you could legally shoot porn is Florida and California. And you both need closed sets.
Closed set, closed door. Wait a minute. How is that? Wait,
Hold on.
wait.
Shut the fuck up. A closed set isn't somewhere you can go sit down in a booth and order a fucking burger and get a blowjob. That's not a fucking closed fucking
Burger and blow.
That's not it.
Well, it should be.
Bunk, it ain't it, man. Let it go.
I can't believe that we diverged from Bunk being disgusted by fat women breastfeeding into this.
I'm sorry. Okay, you guys. I had this all planned on how
You lost. This is the
Because
first
I knew
argument I remember you straight losing.
No, I mean no.
in at least 10 episodes.
I know. I planned this because I knew that the first part of the show was going to be really serious, and I wanted to lighten up. So I'm like, what bullshit can I come up with to really lighten the mood and get people laughing? And I can't. And we were talking about the earlier work. I'm like, okay, I'm going to mention this in the podcast. So yeah, there you go.
Oh no, my God, dude!
What? I got you laughing.
It got me worried, man, more than laughing. It was nervous laughing because
Jim laughing.
No, I think it's hilarious because my wife can hear it too right now, so she's kind of laughing along with me.
It got you guys.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it was funny as fuck, and I had them cracking up. I'm like, blow and grub works.
No, but that's not where you started. You started with
be able
I
was talking about the
to blow a guy in public if somebody else is allowed to breastfeed and they're not attractive enough on your scale.
That's
like that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
I agree. That's the most ridiculous thing, but it was funny at the time.
That's
you
not
were serious. You were
no, I was not serious. I was semi-serious that I don't want to see that.
Shut your! I did not inhale ass up. You are
did not
serious.
No, I had this planned actually, but because I wanted
because I fully believe it is your dream to get a quarter pounder and a quarter pounder.
Oh, I would love that.
I'm just saying. I just think that came too much from the heart, Bunk.
No, wait. No, the grub, the blowing grub. I would definitely do that shit.
Do you know?
I would do that.
Oh my God, I feel like Super Dave.
Dude. I bet that shit would catch on like nobody's business. I mean, think about it.
Right before you get fucking on the 5 o'clock news from a fucking prostitution sting. And
forget the prostitution sting, the sanitarianism of that.
I know.
Do you have any idea where it is?
I was thinking about that too, Jim.
Illegal this is?
No.
Hold up, Buck. You are effectively going to change E. coli into a sexually transmitted disease.
That they will swallow.
No, I mean, no. I mean, like we have towels there.
Motherfucking towels is not a fucking. No. That is not a prevention. That is not bacterial or infection control. It's not a towel. That's like that Adam Sandler movie where he covered the kid's piss in newspaper. That's not even close to sanitary. How are you gonna have someone have red meat in their mouth one minute and then give you a Hummer the next, and you not expecting getting a UTI at least?
No. So you missed the time. No, you missed it. The timing is wrong.
I know. That's why I said, God damn it, because I know Ben's going to repeat himself because I heard it the first time and I knew it, Ben, that it was stupid then, and I'm going to have to hear it again now because you misinterpreted it.
Yeah, exactly. So as I was saying.
See, Ben even knows.
All I said was, that's why I said blow and grub. That's the order. You get blown, then you eat, not at the same time. You get blown.
Well, what if you're the other person and then you have to eat?
Do you have a drive-through? Like, what? How does this? What is the logistics? Like, this
is a really bad business plan. If you went to Shark Tank, I would watch this episode, bro, because this would be a massive failure.
Mark Cuban would fucking invest. I'm just saying.
No, I was gonna say Mark Cuban would probably be like, "I'm your first customer. Do you have a sample product?"
That's good in Vegas, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm like, listen. I think that idea has merit.
Shut up.
I do. Blowing up. What's the word?
Fucking a blow in a blow restaurant. Just stop it.
No,
Just stop it. You need to seek help.
No, man, because I mean, shoot, Jim, you know that in your
You are literally going to set gay rights back 50 years. I'm just saying this shit.
Who
like,
said it
I
would have to
mean,
be gay?
Have gays even had rights for 50 years?
Who's to
I
say
don't
it
know.
was?
I was being optimistic.
Wait, you know what, Visor, you discriminatory
That's
fuck.
my fault. That's my fault. Optimism was my fault.
Hey, you discriminatory fuck. I didn't say I had to be gay. I was just going to say that, I mean, it could be women. Sure. It don't do.
But a woman can't suck another woman's dick.
No,
actually, it's 2018. You can, right?
Okay,
you just pretend you're whatever you want to be.
Yeah, you might want to change that.
Hey, there's already furries.
Man, the social justice warriors are going to come for you, Jim, just for that comment.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay. So let's move on to even a more ridiculous comment.
I don't think we can top that.
No,
ridiculousness.
It's almost as bad, but not as bad. So I showed Jim. There is so Advisor, you've been on Reset Era, right?
Oh, what?
That's the successor to NeoGAF. Would it? All
no,
the admins
because
left?
I'm not a fucking loser.
Okay. Great.
I miss Visor. Man. He's just like me, except more blunt.
Okay.
Advisor, I was trying to add you to Discord forever.
I don't fucking run Discord. That's not my pay grade. I don't give a shit. Like,
no, I was trying to add you to it, man. But I couldn't. You didn't respond on Twitter.
Well, he doesn't go on Twitter. The only thing he does on Twitter is he keeps retweeting and responding to this fucking bitch. That's all he does on Twitter.
Okay, let me explain Twitter. Twitter because I work 16-hour shifts and I freaking have no mental stimulation during any of those shifts. So I just a plant going to sunlight. I automatically respond to anything that fucking gets me out of that stupid.
Visor.
It sounds like
Visor, it sounds like you should go to Blow and Grub.
Motherfucker, I'm not gonna go get E. coli on my dick. It ain't gonna happen.
So what needs to happen then is you guys need to go to Blow and Grow and then have a really big fat chick breastfeeding while Ben is getting his blowjob from somebody. Like that's what needs to happen. Everyone needs to align, and then everyone will agree all of these ideas are bad.
Wait. By the way, I should not strive. Okay. The whole point of this topic was not to go back to that. Was all right. There is a thread. I shit you not. I showed Jim where they talk about that there are 74 characters in Smash Brothers Ultimate, but no black or brown characters. Please discuss.
You can make Link black. What about Ganondorf, motherfucker?
Okay. Someone said that got banned because apparently you cannot make reference to a non-humanoid as being black or brown, and for that to be actually
all right.
factual.
I'm gonna out myself here. Ganondorf, just because you're from the desert, don't mean you're not a fucking human. I mean, goddamn. I mean, okay, you can turn every one of those characters fucking brown if they're humanoid. Everyone. Secondly, who gives a fuck? It's Smash. Thirdly, who the fuck cares about fucking who's represented and not in gaming? Like, legit. Who cares? I don't care.
I know.
I don't care.
I think
if fucking Final Fantasy 16, there's enough fucking Mexican with a huge ass sombrero with a fucking giant sword trying to take down a fucking jet. I don't give a fuck.
If he has a huge
Why
dick,
would I give a fuck?
If he has a huge dick, I'll care.
Okay. Why would you care? Tell me why. Instead of me telling you why I don't care, tell me why you care.
Okay. So a Mexican with a huge dick. I mean, that's like
okay.
Roger American Dad. That's like.
So you're saying that if there is not a black gay hobbit in another game, that you are gonna feel personally slighted in this shit.
Okay, I'm not. Apparently, you're into midget porn. I am not into midget porn, so no.
Okay, Bunk, try to keep it along. That I was talking about you. You're not you don't have a personal avatar of yourself in the game. That's what this is all about. You don't like the people who get pissed off about this. The people who get pissed off about this are mad that they are not the hero. They are not the hero because their life is trash.
Okay, let me be serious for a second. So yes, it's the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I could not believe that people got banned for mentioning non-humanoids. I mean, it's really quite pathetic. And the thing about it though, so I was gonna post on there and I was gonna say, listen, so I'm gonna start a petition where there should be no video game violence of any kind. Because if you play the said video game violent, you are agreeing that violence is okay.
Violence is okay.
Why did I not surprised that you said that? I mean, but because apparently
Violence is
because,
necessary, man. It's
Yeah.
literally human nature. Violence is part of human nature, and what happens is when you have no violence and have no real conflict, that's when we get what we get now, where all these people are funded and all this shit by everything. Yes, stagnation and just doing nothing. Like your body is meant to have conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why working out is so good for people, because it's conflict on your body. You're making your body
I thought
work
you was
hard.
gonna go. I thought you was gonna go in another direction with that. I was like, oh, good. I'm glad. I'm like, oh my gosh, they got Jim. They got Jim.
No.
Like,
But you know what I mean when you put it that way, it makes sense. You know, like we're supposed to have conflict.
right? Okay, the resistance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
No,
That's just human nature. No matter what you believe, like that's just human nature in general. We're supposed to have conflict. We're supposed to be struggling, and then that's why a lot of people, once they retire, they die immediately, like within that first 5 years afterwards, because they have nothing else. So there's no like resistance. There's no work to be done. So the body feels useless, and then bad shit happens.
So, and the point of my example was, I mean, it's of course it's asinine. It's an asinine idea. It's asinine because obviously, just like with movies or a book or a video game, is that you're viewing that violence in context. You're not going to go out there and actually think that this is okay to be done, which is a very, very basic thing that people understand. But apparently, that understanding ends when it comes to social quote unquote issues like this. Who the fuck cares that there aren't any white or brown, black, or whatever? It's a game. It's a video game that half of the roster are not even humanoid. Why do you care that there has to be a social statement needs to be made by including? I mean, it's a video game.
I explained it earlier. They want to be the hero. Whether the hero is reflected to them in the game or the fact that they are a hero because they're holding up this bullshit ideal and being a champion for it. I mean, they want to be a hero in some semblance. They want to be that knight in shining armor when they just come out looking like a faggot. I mean, it's just,
Hey,
I'm
just kidding. No,
truth or truth. Truth or truth. So motherfuckers, they just keep doing this. They keep fucking banding together and they become that loud minority. And which is funny because they're complaining about there's no minorities. But I don't think there's what's going on in the real world should never have you can draw like inspiration for it to write fiction, but it should never drive anything in fiction. And it's complete shit that you think that if there is nothing representing you in like, there's not some fucking Mexican ogre in fucking Smash that's what makes it a good or a bad game. It's a shit game regardless. But the fact of the matter is, who cares? This has no impact on the quality of the game.
Because this has actually a tie-in to what happened with What's Her Face was going to portray, what was that game? That movie it was originally a transgender person in the comic. And What's Her Face?
Scarlett Johansson or something.
And people was like, oh, it should be played by a real a transgender person. Why? You're not going to see the dick.
If she's a better actress, then that's when it should happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think all of us we're gonna be a dead horse here really quick because we're all gonna agree that that's how it should be. Like, I don't think anybody's gonna object to the best qualified person for a job, like, and the person that will also bring in the most money for the company, who's spending tens of millions of fucking dollars on these goddamn things, should get the fucking job. I don't know. We did this exact one, yeah.
For someone at work,
too.
He found like a box of headset It had like three, like a white guy and two white girls on it. He was like, "Why is there no minorities and shit? What the fuck?" And then I was like, "Are you serious? You're really fucking complaining about this?" And then I like explained to him like, "How could you know that these this one company they try to be racist by only putting white people?" And then I kind of got him to agree. So sometimes
Yeah, I
you
mean,
could
there were
change
people.
people's minds.
There were people like that was complaining about Django Unchained. That he said, man, that like what's his face, Leonardo DiCaprio's character used the N word a lot. Yeah,
Where was? Yeah, it makes sense.
it makes sense
Context.
considering the time period where this film took place. Man, that's a lot of word use of the N word. I'm like, well, apparently you haven't been in the South for very much.
Nope. We literally have towns here named after KKK Grand Wizards. Like it's
God damn.
it's not even a joke.
What?
It's not even a joke. It's not even a joke. Like I'm totally 100% serious. Like Pulaski was named after one of the early wizards from the fucking early days.
Mr. Wizard?
Oh well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he'd be allowed. He's got a spickly last name like I do, so he doesn't really fit the bill. But
once you have the hood over your head, I don't think they know.
yeah, that's the Chappelle show skit. Though.
You
I
know,
mean, goddamn.
Mr. Biggsby.
But where was I going with that? But anyways, yeah. So
but
it
Mr.
was.
Bixby is not a pedophile.
Who's a pedophile?
I take 2 seconds to drink my beer, and you have to go there.
You know what? But from what I understood that when he was asked about the accusations, he laughed. Okay.
All right. Before we get into it further than that, Pfizer has no idea what we're talking about. Mr. Suarez, he didn't hear. He was not into alphism, and he didn't know about the Watson stream. So basically, I'll give you a quick rundown, then I'll let Ben go into it a little more to rehash the topic. But Mike Watson went onto the Super Arcade Twitch live and implicated that Mr. Wizard had done very questionable things. One was an accusation to an underage boy at the time to do 25 naked jumping jacks for him to get tickets to an event.
How long ago was this? Like
not that long ago.
Oh.
And then I will let Bunkei go further on that topic because he was really mad about it, and it was something that we had talked about in the past, but Watson really brought it up to like to more people rather.
Right. So Visor, to fill you in quickly, is that several years ago, I cannot remember how, I heard rumors that Wizard tried to solicit naked photos from an underage RCer that still comes to the channel. I asked the said individual.
Okay, wait, is this under Rape Shield, or are we going to put people on blast or not?
I mean,
no, because it's all alleged, and like I said, the only time I'm not going to take sides here. Like, as far as like, I'm not going to say, oh fuck, he fucking did it. Like, right. I have met him in real life, and I've had beers with him. Like, he's what you would think he would be. He's an awkward fucking guy. Like a lot of people in the fighting game community. That's not an insult. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But there was nothing he did when I was ever in real life with him that I would think, oh, that guy is a pedophile. But I've heard enough stories where I think it is cause for concern. And I think that it should be, kind of addressed. Like, he didn't even flat out deny any of it. Like, and I would have immediately. I've been like, fuck you, dude. Don't make up shit about me being a fucking pedophile to thousands of people. Like, that's fucked up. I'd go off on libel for that. That's really fucked up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just as easy as, he said, she said at this point.
Right. And yes. And so, Visor, I asked this individual, is this true that Wizard asked for pictures, naked pictures? He said, yeah.
Well, shit.
And he didn't give it to him. And good. And I was like, damn it. I'm like, what? But he's like, but I don't want, please don't put my name out there. I don't want to make a thing out of this. And that's the only reason. That was one of two reasons why I never like really went hard after him. No, that's a poor choice of words. That's not really why I did not really go on a tangent about it, because A, he
Right.
never got what he wanted, and B, it was out of respect for the victim, and he shouldn't be drawn in this unless he really wants to. But now that we had yet another accusation, because I told Jim about this rather recently, and yet, and here we go. And sure, there are sour grapes involved, most likely between Mike Watson and Mr. Wizard. But yet, this is yet another accusation that he tried to solicit photos from an underage boy.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, it comes down to, all I can say on that, really, because I'm not, there's not really much way I can go with it, is if he did it, he deserves to be tied to a fucking stake and set on fire.
So
I mean,
I agree.
But here,
no, I mean, yeah, it's bad. Pedophilia to me is like the lowest.
Here's
It's
the
really
thing.
bad.
Here's
It's really bad.
Here's the thing. Is so again, of course, this is all he said. She says hearsay. However,
right.
If this dude that I spoke to, not who Watson was referring to,
the alleged,
I know. If this dude wanted to go after Richard, he could have done so. He didn't. He didn't wish to go public with this and all of that. And to a point, I'm kind of breaking my promise by mentioning this, even though I'm not using his name. But
no.
But
well, think of how hard it would be for him. Yeah, everyone would be like, "Oh, it'd be good," we'd be explaining this, but
right,
it's just so much shit that because, I can't say much more because it'll give it away. But it's just unnecessary shit that because nothing did happen in that specific instance, drawing that kind of attention to it, it could really just be worse almost for that person because nothing did happen.
Right.
In that specific scenario.
Right. And however, this is the man that's in charge of the largest tournament on the goddamn earth for fighting games.
Yeah, and where the majority of the people are younger, right. Not all illegal, but younger.
Right.
And then you have games like Smash Brothers where it's literally children or old fucking weird creepy people. Fuck that game.
Right. But so and he had
I had to make a joke.
Right. And obviously he has big influence. If he wants to fly your ass down there and to evil for free, he could do that.
No, he could do a lot of things.
Right, he could do a lot of things. I'm saying that this is not just exposing a pedophile. It's also about what are we doing? How can I word this?
There's no way to word this right, man.
Are we doing a disservice by not actually saying anything about it? Because he can. It's obvious that if he's guilty of these said allegations, these two aren't the only ones.
No complaining victim, no crime. That's pretty much how that whole thing goes.
Well, not even just that. There needs to be actual evidence.
Right.
Without that, all of this is bullshit. And that's why I will not throw him directly under the bus. I won't do it.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all that's going to actually be said about it because it's
if you show some serious, indisputable shit that says, okay, holy fuck, this is real, totally different story. But we're not there.
No.
So,
but you know what? But if you tied me to a lie detector and you asked me,
it doesn't matter. It's still hearsay, though.
I understand that. And then I will be.
I know. You're going with your gut, and I respect that.
I'm going
because I have my gut feeling with a lot of people in this community, on different reasons.
Gut, yes, but that's not 100% of it. If it was one person, maybe I'm like, yeah. Two people, I'm going, okay. There's something to it. Not to mention that one of the people whom I talked to personally could have gone a totally different route. If he really wanted to make a spectacle out of it and didn't, which to me gives him credibility because again he could have gone out and really made this a spectacle, and he didn't. I'm just saying that if you want to, yes, I do believe that he is guilty of that stuff, Ooh. and I don't mind. You know,
be careful what you're saying there, though. Like
I do.
But why should he be though? I mean, in defense of Ben, like why should he be? Like he's not traveling in tournaments. He's never going to Evo again. regardless of this.
Right.
I mean, and if he feels so strongly in his convictions, it's his prerogative and it's his right to make judgments based on the evidence that he has and people that he's talked to.
Right. It's just
we don't have to endorse it. We don't have to endorse it.
No,
yeah, no,
right.
I know, but we don't have to endorse it, and it is what it is. He's just saying his opinion, so I respect that.
Exactly.
You know, we have to respect the fact that he's giving his opinion. That's all.
Right. And I'd be the first to admit again that it is hearsay. I mean, it says, but when it says, while saying that, if you and it says, I believe that it's true. And it says, and I think that and what concerns me and what's gnawing at me now is that now that since someone else has come out with a similar accusation.
Let me tell you what concerns me actually, and this is me trying, because I have a tendency to try to poke holes in everything to come to a conclusion. Why did it take Mike Watson so long to come out with it? That's my biggest.
But
if he
I
was
can answer
so,
that. I can answer that because I remember I told you at the beginning that this person, I cannot remember how I was told about. This is not new. I will tell you that this is not the first. Mike Watson is not the first, nor am I the first person that this stuff has been there. If you go ask people in the community, and they had to tell you the goddamn truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth that this is not the first time that he's been accused of something similar.
Okay,
it's not. These rumors have been around for years, and I mean several years.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, it's never gotten the attention that it probably deserves, considering his position in the fighting game community.
I think that's kind of a weird thing to say, because I think people lack perspective on that. Like, I think people lack perspective on how big they think he is. It's not like you're accusing a fucking quarterback in the National Football League of doing this. You're confusing some guy who happens to run a small end, in the grand scheme of things, esports event over something that is pretty severe. So it's just I think a bad perspective, and I think that's because we're in the community, of so to speak, or we were in the community, because I don't really no longer consider myself part of that community. It's a bad perspective to take. In the greater scheme of things, it just should not matter like what he is. Or
no, you're right. You're right. It should not matter. However, what I mean by his position is that, considering that his position as far as running a very large, several thousand person tournament, well, as just Jim mentioned, where a lot of young people do attend, and the fact that it's also there's hotels nearby. I mean, if he ever want to act on this, I mean, he has access that would and influence that most others don't.
Right. But that's
it's not just influence, he has power.
Yeah.
I think we overstate
power is more
though.
important than influence.
I think we overstate that. That's my point. I think because it's just, maybe it's because people are still inside the community that we overstate what we think his power is. If you actually look at it, he's losing that power.
How so?
Because in the sense of other tournaments coming up to bigger.
Nobody gives a fuck about other tournaments, though. When it comes to like the deep, no. I will give Evo this, and this is to death. That is the tournament. That is the tournament.
But now, when people are starting to look at prize pools and stuff like that, other tournaments are eclipsing it.
Yeah, other people's will pay. Other tournaments will pay better, but as far as like a fighting game player, like that is still always going to be the tournament until
to us. But like
no, not just to everybody. Look at entrance numbers. Look at everything. Look at the whole picture. There's no contest. That is the tournament.
It's the biggest Street Fighter tournament in the world, is it not? By inch.
Yes.
Easily. It's not even close. It's not even close.
And just because of that, and the fact that it is going esports, which is going to attract other kids. What I'm saying is, and you say power, he has the power to decide who goes to evil and who doesn't.
Right, but if he overexercised that so-called power, he would be pretty much cutting off his nose to spite his face.
But you know what?
Because
People
he's
do that.
never had a question to himself,
Right,
and
and
he's never been in a
that's the-
situation where anybody's done anything or where he's gotten caught. Well, it's the same fucking thing as goddamn. I mean, and this is a horrible equivalency, and I don't mean to make this as directing because, like I said, I don't know that Mr. Wizard did this shit, but it's the same thing as Weinstein in theory and practice.
Right.
Like people could hear all this shit and be like, "Oh, well, that kind of happens," and they accept it, and then all of a sudden, all it takes is that little shred of evidence. And then the whole fucking world can collapse on you in 24 hours.
I have a question, and this is more to put it in my brain, but how many accusations has there been?
I don't
Of
know. I don't know
pedophilia,
total.
3? Over
Yeah.
a span of how much time?
Well, the Ben one, but Bunkei told me about the other one a few years ago. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about that. I heard another one in between that. So I would say over the span of probably 5 or 6 years, I've heard 3 different ones from 3 different people.
And now this is more my ignorance. The relationship between Mr. Wizard and Mike Watson, in the sense of, was there a friendship?
Oh, it's always. It was that they worked together. They all went to the same arcade. They were childhoodish kind of arcade people at Golfland. But I mean, well, here's the thing that I will offer you this. What does Mike Watson have to gain from this? Nothing.
He only has to lose.
He has everything to lose, and especially if he's going to make a false. And this is something I was thinking about. We didn't talk about this last podcast because I was. If you listen back to it, even Ben said like it was one of those times like I was more quiet than usual because it's tough to take in, dude. It really is because this is somebody that almost like met my daughter, and
Right.
I don't know, but never any real problems with. So I kind of brushed off a lot of stuff. If you break it down and you really think about it, there would be no reason until evidence really can. I'm sorry to anybody that's listening to just harp on this, but without actual evidence, he has nothing to worry about.
Exactly. He thinks in his position, he probably thinks that he is untouchable. Just
and until there, I mean, here's the thing, and that's my point. Without evidence, he is. And rightfully fucking so. Rightfully fucking so. He should not. Nobody should be fucked over on accusations without evidence. That's fucking bullshit.
Right.
I'll stand by that to the death. Doesn't matter what the crime is. Unless there's legitimate evidence proving whatever the crime is, then no, you can't do that, man. That's not how the world is supposed to work. Not to me, at least.
Mm-hmm. So, I gotta talk about motive too. Like it's.
Well, again, yeah, going back to Mike Watson's motive, there's nothing. His arcade is failing. Okay? It's going to become a regular bullshit David Buster's mini because he tried to do good for the community and nobody shows up. So the fighting game tournament thing, he's already been threatening for months that he's not going to do that anymore. So, I mean, you take that away from it. He's a very frustrated man is what I'm getting from this. Like, regardless of the wizard accusations or, this, that, and the other, like when you listen to that person talk on a human level, you can tell he's just fucking pissed. He feels people are ungrateful towards him for whatever this, that, or the other reason. And he's mad about it, dude. He's legit mad. So he's to the point where he's just ready to chuck everybody under the bus. And Wizard wasn't the only person he threw under the bus. He called Serlin a rapist.
I've heard those stories before. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. He went into that and he did a few other things about other people and how they're actual criminals, but he admitted he himself was a criminal too, doing the same things as far as theft and this, that, and the other.
Right.
But I mean, he has nothing to gain. to me, like he's cut out, dude. He's cut out. He'll never be a big part of the community ever again, as far as like on that grand Evo scale.
Right.
Even if everything went, in his favor, it's not in the cards. It's not in the cards. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So that's why it's another reason to be like, oh well, he's not doing it for, attention. Like this person, from my perspective, it was doing it as a, oh, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. I don't want it to make sense. I don't want any of this to be making sense, and I don't want any of it to be true.
Yeah.
But,
That's where I'll I'll let you guys talk for a second.
I just have. I mean, it's a question that I can ask to the both of you, and of course, you can choose to refuse to answer the question. And because I think that there is merit on both sides of the answer, because it's a yes or no answer, based on what you've heard right now. If you had the power, would you remove Wizard from being
No,
the head of Evo?
no, I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't.
Neither would I. Because then you are basically condemning a man without any sort of shred of evidence or due process.
Okay.
Then that's
okay,
That's
and that's what I expected. Most of it. Maybe I'm more biased because of my past and the things that happened to me when I was small. That this disturbs me. It disturbs me not because of the nature of the crime. It disturbs me because more likely than not, what's been alleged probably is true, and that every day that that nothing is actually said, and we just say, we'll just nothing, nothing's gonna be proven. If nothing is said about it, I feel like that
another victim could be had. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, and the point of the matter is that in these sort of crimes, unless, I mean, in most cases, these type of that I should say, I'll reword this. In most cases, where there is a suspected predator, the predator is smart enough to usually not do anything that will be very, very incriminating, where it can be easily exposed.
and I'll add to that. I mean, if these accusations are true, if I'm quantifying that, of course, he is doing if I was a defense lawyer, this is the exact advice. What he's doing now is the exact advice I would give him. Don't even address it. Like, don't even, because you're right. You bring more attention to it. There's more eyes on it. There's more analyzing. There's more chance of the truth of coming out. I think in the end of the day, that's all I would want out of this is the truth.
That's the thing, and that's one of the reasons why in the back of my mind, that is the number one reason why I don't want to let this die off completely, like go back into oblivion and no one ever talks about it for another 5 years. Is that,
why don't you invite him onto the show?
Huh?
Just blast it out like that. Yeah.
Why don't you invite him onto the show? Because clearly I know him. We've met. He knows I'm not doing it to do a gotcha, but I'd like to talk to him about it. And I think it would be a good platform for him. And it's not like we're getting tens of thousands of views and we're not going to fucking make any goddamn money off of it. So it would just be a genuine conversation. I think we should invite him onto the show.
Because of other things that had nothing to do with the accusations, I find him a thoroughly unfavorable person. But
okay, well then why don't we do this? Why don't you invite him on and I'll talk to him? You don't even have to talk.
Sure.
Offer that to him, because I don't go on IRC anymore. Just offer that to him. Send him a direct message or whatever the fuck, and just give that offer to him, say, look, da 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 da. But and if he doesn't believe me, he can go back and he can listen to the last 3 times I've talked about this. I have yet to condemn him for it. I have not called for his job. I've not done anything. All I've said is like this is disturbing. But until there's concrete evidence, this guy should not be fucking crucified for it.
But yeah, but at the end of the day, if you like, it's not his job to prove his innocence. If you think about it, it's
not. But if you were really that innocent, you would. Right. No, not that you would prove your innocence, but you would come out and say this is bullshit. Mike Watson went on a fucking live stream with thousands of viewers and said some horrible shit about somebody. Whereas if it was a lie, I would go fucking nuts. I'd sue him. Forget anything else. But that's what I'm talking about. Because you're gonna win no contest. Unless you have something, you win no contest. So that's why I'm concerned about it.
So for completion,
it wasn't like some guy. Sorry, go.
For some completion sake, because I didn't see the live stream, and like a lot of this, I first heard about in the last couple of days.
Now,
yeah. So, was there any other accusations of any other wrongdoing besides this, or
yes, many.
Okay, can I have some examples? I'm not asking you to recall the whole thing.
Robbing. He was robbing money from the arcade because he had keys to the machines. And Mike himself even said, look, I did that too. We all did that. But, apparently Mr. Wizard did that even more. Mr. Wizard allegedly is the correct word. Certain games were making it into Evo from bribes. And
I don't
the
doubt
money
that.
Wasn't. Oh no, but the money wasn't going to all of Evo. It was going to Mr. Wizard, and because the Canyons are doing so well, apparently that was never put into check. So there's been a lot of collusion, a lot of underhanded deals where a lot of money is exchanged hands.
I mean, that's been the theory.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. But when you asked me what else has been talked about. I mean, that's some of the other stuff.
Jim, do you also bring up a point that should have been obvious, but I didn't think of until what you just mentioned? Because of that very scenario and the fact that in a scenario like this, one could have dirt on the other, the Canyons have probably zero interest in ever addressing this.
Nope.
Because
this is bad for business.
Right. Exactly. It's bad for business.
Because they're clean as fuck. They're family men. They're hardworking. Like, I don't know. Like, I met them both. They're great people.
Right. And so,
and
you kind of hope that you just can just hope that they have nothing to do with this.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And if they do, they're even more guilty.
Yeah.
Well, not even more, but they're very guilty as well. Then.
And again, this is like a microcosm of politics, right? Where the rabbit hole goes farther than you think. I don't even want to go down this path. Like I know you're going with this, and there's a possibility you're right, but it's just right. Well,
until we even get to where
but
we have something
right.
I don't even want to entertain the idea.
Right.
Can I have something answered from my own ignorance? How involved are the Canyons still with Evo? Like, I've been out of it for a while, so how involved are they still with the whole promotion and brand?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
nobody here can make that answer correctly because we're not a part of it.
Right.
I mean, Wizard. The only thing that we could say is that Wizard is still in charge of the registrations. Because he talks about it frequently. People emailing him after the registration deadline and everything.
For sure, they probably do most of the shit anyway. I know. Is it Inkblast? I'm pretty sure he still does the brackets, or was it Ponder? I don't know.
I mean, every time I've been there, I've seen them. I've seen them in the organizers area and stuff. So I assume they're still pretty involved. So, but they've seemed to just be like a shadow of what they used to be.
Well, and full disclosure, I really want to make this clear in case an attorney is looking at this. The only reason why I'm addressing this, and even though I've known this for years, and not why I'm addressing on the radio publicly, is because now it has become something other public. And someone else has made a similar accusation. I'm now simply talking about something that's already being previously discussed. I mean, I have never talked before. A few weeks ago, I've never even talked about this, even though that I had knowledge of this going back several years.
Mhm.
But now the fact that it's out in the public, and again, and second of all, now I realize that now to my knowledge, there's more than one person, which I've suspected it might be. But now that I'm hearing from another person's mouth that, hey, he did this or that, and again, it is still hearsay, but I'm seeing a pattern. And so now, and this is a really, really fucked up situation, to Jim's point. I actually, out of all the people I feel sorry for, I feel sorry for Jim the most. It's one thing to never met a person and accuse them of a crime. It's another thing when you met the person and you broke bread with them and you play games with them and you have laugh and jokes, and then you hear something that they have done something that they may have done something that's this vile, may have.
Mhm.
Um, that's a whole different ball of wax, and um, there aren't any words that I can really express other than I'm sorry that it all happened, even though that obviously we were never involved in the situations, but I'm sorry that it all happened this way, because I mean it is damning, and it's pretty, and it shakes your core when you find out that a person may not be the person you thought they were.
Well, I'll
Yeah,
go. I'll
and,
go
and,
in
and
the
even
sense.
to a more fundamental thing about that, like I do appreciate that because it really did fuck me up. And it doesn't take it does take a lot rather for me to really be quiet on an issue and really be introspective when we're on the radio at least. But like just the concept of knowing that I could have been hanging out and having a good time with somebody that potentially could have been doing something like this, and this is only what we have heard about. We don't know. We don't know anything. We don't know shit. We don't know if this is true. We don't know if this is not true, and we also don't know if it could be worse. So now that's in my head, and this is somebody that I know. I know this is not an anonymous person on the internet, and then on top of that, it's somebody that has so much influence and so much power, and it's not a good thing. I really don't like the topic, to be honest. We'll talk about it because that's what we do, but
I mean,
it's rough.
and there lies the rub, is that on one hand, I don't want to
I'm
talk
not going to
about it
ignore
either.
it,
No, I don't want to talk about it because it is a despicable topic, true or false.
but it has to be talked about, and nobody else is going
I'm
to talk
glad.
about it, so we might as well fucking talk about it. And then until there's hard evidence one way or the other, then it's something that I don't know. I feel like right now
I'm glad
it
to hear
didn't get
that
the
from you.
heat that it needed to get.
I'm glad
I
to
feel
hear.
like
You
it
think
needed to be
so?
talked about more.
I think it hasn't got enough.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying
Oh,
it
okay, I
hasn't gotten the
misheard.
heat. It has not gotten the heat that it has needed to get. An accusation like that, this should be addressed.
It
Like
should be addressed.
okay, real small example. But I mean, even in esports world that happened in this last week, some guy that plays FIFA and is a professional player and does all the EA things. They played for $1 million. We play for nothing in the fighting game community. Okay, he was banned from events. He's fucked for the entire season, basically, because he said faggot in the video.
Right.
Banned. Another guy banned because he said the game is shit and he exploited how the game has broken mechanics in it. They banned him. So they've banned 2 players, one for quote unquote hate speech when it was not hate speech. The guy, he was just talking shit. I mean, God, obviously in 2018, you have to be careful, but if that's where we are with esports, then we have to address a very, very serious allegation. If we're going to go against petty bullshit like criticizing a game and then saying a bad word once, not to anybody, just in general, then we seriously, as a community, we have to look at it like this is a serious fucking accusation.
Well, let's bring an incident up that was in our own community, what everyone likes to bring up, and that's with Noel Brown. I mean,
oh, he's a piece of shit. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. If he played in traffic right now, I would drive the car.
I agree completely. But my point is,
you hit a woman. Oh my god.
Yeah. But my point is, after that came out, the justice, so to speak, or the result was swift. It was taken care of. I don't think this is going to be that way, obviously, because
it's already dead. We're the only ones still talking about it.
Yeah, and the thing about it though is that I'm sorry to keep on beating the dead horse, but there's a 98 possibility that if he is guilty of this, he is going to get away with it, and that gets under my skin. It gets under my skin. No one should be able to get away with it. And of course, I mean, we pay lip service to that. No one should ever get away with a serious allegation, especially if there's been a pattern where this is not the first or the only accusation. There's been from other people that are not even related to each other, where there seems like there's someone's a conspiracy.
There's no collaboration.
Right.
There's no
corroboration. Right. These are from So it bothers me. That's the part that bothers me, is that if he's guilty of this, most likely he will get away with it. And not only that, is that just based on what people who have been convicted of stuff like this, they're going to do this until they're caught.
All right, there's a question. There's a hypothetical question I want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
If it does come out that he is, and there's evidence, of course, and he is pursued and everything, and this is going to sound really dumb, but I think it warrants asking: is fighting games done? Because
no.
Because I mean,
he'll be replaced. He'll be replaced immediately. Somebody will step right into that place. It'll be somebody like Mark, man.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this will overshadow. Honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know why I would feel this way, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if he's exposed and removed and etc. Actually, I don't, unless I have to be very careful how I word this. Unless the rabbit hole goes a lot farther than we think. I don't see how this will tarnish the reputation of Evolution.
But he's been such the apparent figure of Evolution.
He has, but I think that the tournament is bigger than him, and he's not.
I'm not saying it'll cease to exist, but I'm saying the sense of any chance of progress.
I disagree. No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Even though he's in charge of it, he's not the face of Evo. At least I don't view him that way.
And here's one thing I will agree with Mike Watson on. He was not good at games. Mm-hmm. Like he's not one of those legacy players. It's like, think of like football, like in real life. You respect the announcers. Like we all think Troy Aikman is a shitbag, except you. Like he's a shitbag. He's a fucking idiot. But he was goddamn good at the actual game itself. So you have that layer of respect for him. Mr. Wizard doesn't have that going for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't have that inherent respect within the community for that to even keep him going.
I think he's actually pretty reviled in the community if you think about it. Like as far as the common person is concerned, not like you people who are serious about playing, but like the common person who is watching the stream and is not really.
No, they all hate him.
Yeah,
they've always hated him.
He has a very thin skin. I mean, and the thing about it though is that even being on RC with him over the past several years, I mean, the dude bans people for the most.
He's not the worst mod. He's not the
he's
worst
not
one.
the
The
worst,
worst
but
one was in here.
but I mean, seriously though, but I mean, but I really feel like that, no, he's not the worst, and he's not obviously he's not the only one, but it's just to me, and it's kind of it's even hard for me to reconcile how he is on RC, because I know a lot of people have an online rep, and then their online and then real life personality, and those are two different things.
Wait a
I
second.
I
Wait, hold on. Give me.
What?
Tragic has left our server, and that only happened during this podcast.
Interesting. Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
I guess I'll bite. I have no idea
Huh.
what that means.
I mean, Tragic is a very big part of Evo. Huh.
Is he though? Like he just announced.
Yes. No. He is. He is. He is. Okay. That's. I don't know why I just randomly checked that, but I did, and I'm kind of happy I did now. Okay.
Okay. And
Let's see.
as I said before.
Oh no! Hold on. And then wait, it shows him there in one channel and there not there in another one. All right, it's probably just Discord then. Ignore everything I just said.
Okay. I have
But
my own.
if you click on general, he's not there, and then if you click on games, he is there. So that's weird.
Hmm.
I don't know though. Like obviously, like he wasn't implicated in anything, and I mean, he was mentioned in the Watson stream, but Watson didn't say anything bad about Tragic.
Yeah. I mean,
So I mean,
and
he has nothing to hide. I mean, he has no accusations. He has nothing to hide. That's this whole thing is just making me overthink shit.
I don't know
dude.
if there's an art. Did they destroy the archive? Because I just feel like there's so much I'm missing. Like
No, it's still up there. I think I already linked it before. Not today, but I did. Let me see if I'll find it and I'll send it to you, or I'll post it. So if anybody wants to check it out, they can. Okay, Super Arcade. I don't know. Like, this is not the kind of shit that I want to be fucking talking about, dude.
yeah,
Jim,
I agree.
Like,
Jim, but
like-
I'll say this, man.
and I'm the only dad in here. Like that. Oh my god. Like, I don't want these people around my fucking kid. Like, we can all bullshit and say, oh, they're fucking all this, that, and the other. But when it comes down to it, like this is real fucking life, and these are real people that I met, and I'm moving back to Southern California, and
props to you.
I just want to know who I'm around. That's all.
Props to you because, I think you did a great job of really kind of setting the tone of why we're talking about in the first place. Someone can get banned for using, quote, a derogatory term, even though it was not aimed at any particular person. Then then this could be discussed. But
I'm just gonna bookmark this because I won't be able to watch it tonight. But
oh no, don't watch it tonight. It's too long anyway. But for next week, I want you to watch it before then, because you'll have a much better understanding.
Right.
So
which is fair.
And
yeah.
So
I like Visor on as a guest. He's much better than Mr. Matt.
Yeah. Mr. Matt.
Well, I
I
mean,
now.
I don't know. Like,
I'm fucking around. I literally went out with Mr. Matt last night. We had beers and saw Bill Burr.
Nah, fuck Mr. Matt.
Oof.
Yeah.
No, but I want to table it for right now. However, yeah, after you watch it, Visor, I'd like your opinion.
Well, that's one thing
I would as well.
I'm good at giving
my
opinion. Yeah, and I mean, I would want your opinion because on one hand, the people, the devil's advocate would say sour grapes all around. But Jim,
well, there's if from what, and this is basically conjecture off of everything I've experienced tonight. I mean, there could be truth to that, but the fact of the matter is, it doesn't take away from the content of what he's saying.
That's point. That's more.
It's
he
true.
didn't.
If it's true,
right? If it's true, but I'll put it this way: I have a hard time believing that he just pulled it out of his ass.
No, I mean,
you know, I mean,
Watson says a lot of shit, but I rarely ever see him
like and also just the context,
out bald-faced lie about something,
right? And the context is the context. Also, Jim did a great job of pointing out the context. He admitted to wrongdoing.
Yeah,
and in a way, he's like Daredevil. You know, he's pouring out his sins out in front of Father, and he's like, you know, about all the stuff that he's doing and everything. And so
he's sinking the ship on the boat he's working on to kill the captain.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I get it.
Right. So I mean, so from it does not look like someone who just like, okay, who can I lie about on this stream? I mean, this seems like someone, as Jim said, is very pissed, very frustrated, very angry, and he is lashing out, but he's not lashing out with just random stuff. He's lashing out with all the stuff that's happened that throughout his career. Not just as a player, but as a tournament organizer and as an arcade owner and a businessman and etc. And he's mad at where he's at now. Well,
yeah, I mean, speaking as just a man, you put your heart and soul into something, and to see it not succeed or failing or whatever you want to call it, it's hard.
And you know what? And the thing about it though, him bringing up Wizard and Serlin.
Well, I mean, God, this is not the first time Mike Watson's roasted Serlin about being a rapist.
No. But you know what? I think that his point about bringing up Wizard and Serlin is that those two people are in very successful positions compared to where he is right now, and he hasn't done the shit that he said that they've done. That's another thing he's pissed about.
It's the why does God, you know, let good stuff happen to bad people and vice versa.
I mean, right. That's basically the scenario that I think that he's saying. He's like, wait a minute. I mean, he says they did all this rotten ass shit that's really, really fucking bad. Not to say I haven't done any myself. I've done some bad shit too. They said, but look at where they are now and look at where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, and again, this is all, you know, and again, this is not proof, but there's something under proof about credibility. I'm like there's nothing in how he presented himself that makes me doubt his credibility of what he's saying is the truth. And basing on not just what he just said about Wizard and about Serlin, but the whole thing. I mean, he's not just grabbing this out of his ass.
Well, no, I would assume not. But like before I watch this stream, what I think I'm going to do is if I'm expected to give a talking point on it, I'm gonna write down some questions that I think I want answered in certain things and see what that comes out to. And I'll come back later and say, hey, you know, this is what I heard, this is what I think, and go from there. But like I said, I just, in the grand scheme of things, I just hope it's not true. Like it's much as I love crucifying people, and I love crucifying people, but comes down, did it happen? Did it not happen? If it did not happen, leave the man alone. If it did happen, you know, he should feel a full brunt of somebody's wrath. Like it just comes down to that level of simplicity for me. Like,
right. And you know, and as I said before, the reason why I'm talking about this is because this has come up in conversations, even probably in more private conversation than public. But this is not the first time it's come up in conversation, even for the whole thing with Mike Watson. But it goes back into oblivion, and nothing gets said for 5 years. And and now
I think that's what bothers me the most.
Yes, and that bothers me the most because at the end of the day, if I'll say it this way: if Mike Watson was the very first time that I've heard of Wizard doing any accused of doing anything like this, we would not be having this conversation right now.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Like I said, I wouldn't come back to it over and over again. We would talk because it's news. We would talk about it because of news.
But the depth, no, I agree.
Yeah, but since this is nowhere near being brand new, I'm like, no, because I feel like that. I do believe that if he is guilty of doing this and is continuing to do this, he will eventually get caught. But I believe that we can help those chances by making sure that it doesn't go back in oblivion. Because if it goes back to oblivion, he wins. If he's true, yeah, if he's accused of this, no, if he's guilty of this,
it is what it is, man.
And so, all right, so I'll table this, and we'll come back to this next week, and we'll continue with it.
Yeah, like I said, I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, I mean, but any time of that you want to do it, I will be happy to do it.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it next Thursday. I mean, I don't mind.
All right,
I don't mind.
Perfect,
I mean, it just
actually
happens that tomorrow I'm off. So this, I can do this as long.
No, I got 3 16-hour shifts in a row for the next 3 days, so I'm pretty tapped on all that. So no go for me tomorrow.
No. Tomorrow, actually, I still want to probably do another show. Well, I kind of wanted to get your take on switching subjects. I wanted to get your take on I had a conversation with someone in an EFNet about football. We were talking about the Cowboys.
Oh fuck! Oh,
no!
I know.
Okay, hold up. Let me preface this. I would easily say, and I would find it hard pressed someone to prove me wrong. I am the most reasonable Dallas Cowboys fan there ever to be in existence in history of time, because I hate the Dallas Cowboys are my team, but I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I hate Dallas.
Smart man.
Yeah, because like I said, I fully believe two things can be true at once. They are my favorite team, but motherfuck do I hate them so bad.
So
and there's
Can
Go
I
ahead.
Can I ask? Okay, there's some questions I have for you.
Okay.
One, the guy I was talking to football about the Cowboys, he says he believes that Jerry Jones is not the control freak that he once was.
He's fucking retarded.
Okay. And so I was like, do you believe that? Two, do you remember when when they actually tried to make a big run at Sean Payton when he was suspended?
Correct. I remember that.
Do you believe that the control aspect was probably the reason why it never got done?
Absolutely, 100%. Because let me tell you this: in what fucking, and this is going back in history, what fucking point of any logical decision making does a man win 2 championships and be out of a job less than 5 years later? Back-to-back championships and then be out of a job. Jimmy Johnson was responsible for all our successes in the 90s. And for some reason, he was run out of town. By who? Cockfucker Jerry Jones. That's his official title. Cockfucker.
You called him cockfucker. That's a word.
That's great. That's classic.
Yeah. And so Jerry Jones is directly responsible for literally 90% of the evil in the entire world. So this is how terrible of a person he is. We had one stroke of luck with about 2 years ago now, where we made the deep run in the playoffs. There was a reason for that.
Deep run into the playoffs.
Compared to what we do. No, let me
you haven't even made a goddamn championship game.
Okay, we got fucked in that game, and everyone pretty much accepts that as fact because of the whole football move call. So even the NFL has admitted that they fucked up that call. Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones' bastard child, was responsible for a lot of the decision making leading up to that season because I don't know, Jerry Jones was off fucking cows or some shit. I don't know. But he stepped back away from the football operations a little bit, and we had success. We had rebuilding success when Bill Parcells was the coach. We had a shitty team then. We went 12-4 with Quincy fucking Carter. That retard. Okay? What happens is Jerry Jones needs the attention on him. He wants so bad to be the Cowboys, a football guy, when really he has no business being on the fucking field during the game. Like legit no business.
So so here's the thing. So and correct me if I'm wrong. So the Cowboys are the most valued team in the NFL.
Yes.
And here's and this is the argument that I had with this young man. I feel like that is something you're alluding to. I feel like that he is more invested in the financial success of the Cowboys than them getting a championship.
Can I ask, wouldn't you be?
Huh?
At that point? Like think about it like this. Wouldn't you be? Because right now it doesn't matter. Like let's say you go to work tomorrow and they say, hey, Ben, we're going to pay you $10,000 just for today, and it doesn't matter where you end up, like what your production is, how valuable you are to the company. Are you going to work hard? Are you going to try to push the envelope on your production? Are you going to, if they continuously every day says, we're going to give you $10,000 a day, and it doesn't matter what the fuck you do with it. Like,
Okay.
what the fuck you do with your time here?
Okay, so draw this back to the Cowboys. So what is the point you're making?
That's exactly what's going on with Jerry Jones. No one's holding him accountable for the stupidity he causes in the Dallas Cowboys organization. At no point is it smart for an owner to be a GM.
But my question is this though, is that
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
No one is going to hold Jerry Jones accountable for what he's doing. So he could fucking sign Mr. Met to play quarterback tomorrow and fucking just shit the bed, like Raiders level shit the bed. And it does not matter. The Cowboys would still be the financial giant they are. And that's what I hate about the Cowboys is the brand.
But my question is this. And this would be a question to Jerry Jones. Dude, you're a fucking billionaire.
Yeah.
You would not be able to spend the money that you have without just giving it away. Just like writing a carte blanche check to just the people. You'll never. Why? What is it? At this point, what's the point? I mean, you got enough money many times over. Why aren't you concerned about taking a step back and letting people with a good football acumen come in and help bring the trophy back home to Dallas?
Right.
That's my question is.
Tell me how the most valuable team in the NFL also is middle of the pack when it comes to spending money on players. Like other than now that Tony Romo's contract doesn't fucking just destroy their economy, how the fuck does a team that valuable barely spends any money on players anymore? Like they don't. Like Amani Cooper, they gave a fucking oh my. Don't get me started, Amani. Okay. They make continuously stupid decisions about everything. So I said, and Jim, I think you should be able to back me up on this. I said about 3-4 years ago that they should have got rid of Des Bryant. I said a long time ago that they need to trade him off. They need to get rid of him. They need to get rid of him. They need to unload him. Because I didn't think he was that good back then. I thought he was overblown.
Same thing with Beckham. I said the same thing about Beckham.
Yeah. And I said that. I'm like, you could still get value off the hype. And they didn't. Now, we went through years and years, and then we had Dak take over, and then he had that really pretty good rookie year. And he now loses a Hall of Fame tight end who's usually a security blanket for a new quarterback. For no matter what team you play for, if you have a solid tight end, it's a little more forgiving for a newer quarterback coming into the league. He has no weapons for any sort of route running because I'm not sure Des Bryant could read, let alone run a route.
Damn.
So he has no one that can consistently run solid routes. He has Ezekiel Elliott, which running back is also supposed to take pressure off the quarterback. I don't know, drinking bleach beneath the sink or something. I don't know what the fuck he does anymore. He continuously has bad decisions after bad decisions, and he does nothing to correct them.
But
The best decision he's made in the last 5 years is drafting Van Der Esch. And
can I ask you a question about Dak?
what?
Even if you put talent around him, is this the man that's going to bring home the Lombardi Trophy?
No, but I do think he should be more successful than what he is, and that is mostly because the system he's in. The system in is complete trash. Jason Garrett is a autism.
Listen. I actually agree. Okay.
If you don't have a quarterback that has a deep threat for an arm, you do not set up on a regular basis 3 to 4 wide receivers out in the slots, like out in the outs in the slots. You don't. You go to more of a pro style offense, either an isolation offense or something like that's based around maybe 7 to 15 yards at the most. You don't try to stretch out the field. You basically run the Alex Smith offense.
Oh gosh. Nothing past 5 yards.
Right, pretty much. And it can be effective. It doesn't do shit in the playoffs, but it can be effective for the regular season.
So let me ask you a question. Man, you know what? This is a loaded question. Do you think that Dak Prescott, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm asking this question, can get
this is a stupid question.
It can get on the same level as Patrick Mahomes?
Stop it.
Fuck no. I said I wish I could pull up the tweet right now. I said Patrick Mahomes is someone who looks like someone that plays in a teen Disney romance movie. Sounds like Kermit the Frog, and there's no one else in the league right now under the age of 30 that I would rather have quarterback my team.
I know, and Jim can attest to this. When I first started, especially after the first couple of seasons, his cock is coming out of my ear right now. So I'm about to say, but the it factor, the force, that nigga has it. I don't know how. I watched this dude play on his first 4 games, and of course, the game with New England is very, very enlightening because this dude, especially after that game, this dude, if you're a Kansas City Chiefs, you just struck the fucking Powerball. This nigga can bring home. You don't need a people talking about KC needs a great defense. No, they don't. They just need to get a defense that can make a stop once in a while. That's all they need. That's all they need. Not that they can get that because this dude has it. Define it. The force.
I can define it, and it's something that's really like you only see in the higher echelons of quarterbacks. He has grit. Like Dak doesn't have that. He doesn't have like the ability to buckle down in fucking some sort of adversity when things aren't going his way and actually take control of the game. He doesn't fucking have it. Period.
And
he does.
And what I love about the KC game is because they were throwing looks at him that he's never seen before. And he adapted. He ran out of time, basically. That's the only reason why the Patriots won that game.
Who would you compare him to? Who would you compare him to?
My God. I believe the most underrated aspect of that dude is the fact that he has a brain. People say he's a gunslinger. No, I don't think he's a Brett Favre. No, he's smarter than Brett Favre.
Would you say? I think Steve Young.
Yeah. Yes. That's a fair. And I'll say this: even Belichick after that game, which he won, he's like, this shit won't work on him next time. And you best believe there's going to be a next time.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the most underrated factor of this dude is that this dude thinks. And he has the ability, he has grit, and he has the ability to adapt and recognize and learn on the fly all the intangibles that you want out of every quarterback you draft. This dude has it. And I said, as long as this dude is healthy, the Chiefs are my pick to win the Super Bowl. I don't care where they're playing.
Whoa.
As much talent he has around him, and yes, I think he can do it.
Okay.
Yes, I think he can do it.
First of all, I want you to go out your car, and I want you to look at the floorboards in the driver's side, and that long pedal. I want you to go to that pedal right next to that one and just push them a little bit because you need to pump the fucking brakes.
No.
Because I love the guy. I think he's great. But if you think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl as they are right now, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
who's going to stop them? Oh, you really gonna pick you? Okay.
We're not even halfway through the fucking
we are halfway through the season. We are halfway through the season.
And he has wait till fucking the end of December till this motherfucker plays through some more fucking tough games because December games are fucking tough.
That's okay.
And see how he is when playoff time rolls around.
Okay.
And
because you know what?
Who else? What? Go ahead, Jim.
No, that was.
I'm laughing, man. It's just you're such a fucking doomed franchise because you've had too much success in the last. Well, you had too much success in the '90s. Like you guys are just fucked.
Yeah.
You're fucked. It is what it is. Jerry Jones. It's just and it reminds me so much of the Knicks, except we don't have the success you have. We have a garbage owner that tries to get in on shit. Always has to make everything about fucking him.
Yep.
Except at least you guys have rings. We have nothing.
So that's why I'm laughing. Britney Spears of NFL owners.
Oh my
God. And Jim Dolan is just a gigantic cunt.
Yeah. I can't.
But I'm laughing because it's the same thing. It's like you're in a big market. You're in a big team. You are America's team, quote unquote. And the Knicks are the mecca of basketball, which is bullshit because we haven't won shit since 1969. We're fucking trash. But because it's New York City, I don't know. I can just laugh the whole situation. That's why I just kept giggling because
it's almost like a crying laugh. Like it's just like
it's an acceptance laugh. It's an acceptance laugh. That's the best way to put it.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question to you, Vice? Is Kelsey Gronk 2.0?
No.
What?
No.
Nigga, you crazy. I'm like, dude.
What is
between Kelsey? I'm dying. I'm dying. Okay. I'm just saying is that looking out the pieces around, how you gonna bet against this team?
Yeah, I'm gonna always bet against inexperience. I'm always gonna bet against.
You have to.
I understand that. But I have seen rookie. I mean, obviously, he's not technically a rookie. But I'm saying is we have seen quarterbacks that have made the Super Bowl with less talent on their second year.
Hell, we had someone with autism win the Super Bowl twice. So then that's in Eli Manning.
Eli
So
Manning.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Tom Brady.
oh, but no, but Eli has that expression like, yo, this dude has a puzzle ribbon on his sippy cup. Like it is. He just has that. Just look him on the sideline. He looks like he lost his mom in the mall. Like it's just bad. And I'm surprised he's made it that long. But it's just, I think with the NFL and the volatile state it is right now, and I'm not talking about like team skill and everything, just structurally what it's in, like with play rule changes and stuff like that. It's really hard for me to just say flat out, this team is going to be, and even 4 weeks from now, going to be the same team, because the refs are deciding so many games as it is right now. I can't tell you. It almost feels like WWE. Like the NFL is the worst shape it's been in a long time. In a long time. And that's just because
Well, I mean, it's tag football now. It's a glamorized tag football now. You tackle somebody, it's a 15-yard penalty. And now, and that's another thing that people never talk about. Now you get strikes against you. You can foul out now. By the way, did you see that? Was the Monday night game? What's his face pushed the other dude in the face? He got ejected.
Right.
I'm like,
if I played football now, I probably wouldn't have seizures. I wouldn't have, remnants from my past concussions. But I still feel like a gigantic pussy if I played football right now. Like it's just bad. It's not good. I mean, everybody. Yes, it's a violent sport. Yes, there's dangers, but dude, don't get on the field. Just don't. I knew what I was getting into. Now I have fucking seizures when I sleep sometimes. Oh well, that was my choice. Like, a cat. But yeah, it's just.
What the hell? What did you guys see the final score?
I don't care. The quality of the football this year has been shit.
Well, I know that, but you see the final score?
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I mean,
Okay.
I live in the South now, where college football is pretty much reign supreme.
Man, you know what?
You see scores like that every week.
You know what?
Like,
you know what? I really believe that college football in the South is a fucking cult. I mean that.
Absolutely.
I mean that literally.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I live right on the border, pretty much on the border of Tennessee, Alabama, and it's orange and crimson red, just boom, 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 boom everywhere, and it almost feels like there's these neighborhoods that are just orange and crimson red, or one neighborhood's orange, one neighborhood's crimson red. It is so bad, and there are more fucking bar fights on like Saturday, especially during like a couple weeks ago. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago that Alabama Tennessee played. There was fucking cop cars all the time in a smaller town, just constantly going up and down the streets.
Man, you know what? There's a like a hypothetical scenario. You say, what's worse? Whose life is more in danger? A black man running through an all-white neighborhood, or a white man running with the wrong colors on from a wrong football team?
College football here?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
white man's in big trouble.
White man's dead.
Big trouble.
He's like, that white man's fucked.
Because it's literally okay when you if someone who has and I saw this, a guy with a swastika tattoo is wearing the same color of a college football team as a black guy, and they're both talking shit about another white guy that has a different color, you have found the key to racial unity. Like it is college
Oh
football
my
in the
god!
South. It ignored a fucking white supremacist and a black dude teaming together to make fun of another white dude. It makes no sense, but that's the level of intensity it is down here. Let's
Man, no, because no, like I know. I mean, it's more. I know we're laughing at everything, but in other parts of the country, there are fans. In that part of the country, is fanatics, and I mean, they live up to that, and I am. I mean, I'm pretty sure there have been a lot of really fucked up shit that's happened to people just simply because they prefer a different football team.
Oh, you're telling me, dude? I lived in Northern California, and when this is not even football. This is baseball with Dodgers versus Giants. How many times you hear every year fucking someone putting somebody else in the hospital because they were the opposite team? Like it happens all the time. Like you don't go through a fucking series with the Dodgers and Giants without someone getting busted up and on some fucking website. It's just not happening.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, and it's kind of, and you know what really kind of draw my attention to this is actually a few years ago there was a segment on the newscast, and I'm glad that they addressed it. It was the last game I think Kaepernick played in Seattle. When he was walking off the field and the Seahawks won the game, you heard some shit that was pretty vile. They threatened this dude's family. And I'm like, and it got caught. Like it was near a microphone. And so like the newscaster was like, that person needs to be arrested. I was like, he's like, that's beyond bad or in bad taste. And I'm like, that's that's just unbelievable that a sport would cause people to really shout out some really despicable things to the opposing team as they walk off the field.
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna kill your family.
That's commonplace, dude. But
but you know what? But I guess I know it's commonplace, but I mean, I guess it's just maybe a different era. But let my grandma hear you say some shit like that to a football player that's coming off the field. Oh, you would not live. Talking about making it home now. You will not make it home. I'm shit, like, man, I don't know. I'm and I mean, not to mention my mom wouldn't tolerate that either. But my oh no, ever, you don't ever say nothing like that. You wouldn't say that shit to your worst enemy. And I like, and you're right. You see these brawls and all of that stuff. I remember that one video that Mr. Met showed me. That drunken brawl. I forgot what part of the country this was in. People just beating each other to pieces. I'm like, I don't get it, dude. I don't get it.
Well, Raiders fans fight their own fans, so I mean, like
Raiders.
I see that. Yeah, Raiders. The dumbest fucking fans in sports. Dumbest fucking fans in sports, bar none. And like average, least educated, more likely. Like you talk about the South fucking people sisters. They're more likely to be fucking victims of incest with the Oakland Raiders fans, from what I've seen their intelligence level be, than any other fucking sports team in the fucking modern world.
Jim, what are you doing?
I'm just taking it all in. I don't care about the NFL.
Yeah, the NFL is shit right now. Like it's legit shit. Like it's the worst. Okay. There's like a bunch of other sports I'd rather watch than the NFL.
I would rather just play racing games than pay attention to the NFL. I don't like it anymore, dude. And that's what I've been doing. If you're curious, I'm sorry. That's why I brought it up, because I'm shopping for a new steering wheel.
Okay, let me ask a question that I very rarely ask on the show, and I should be ashamed of. What games are you guys playing right now?
I play Assetto Corsa and I play Initial D Arcade Stage 8. They're fucking both racing games, and they are fun. They're really fun games. They're very different. One is an arcade kind of exaggerated physics things, but you're racing on railroads in Japan.
Oh shit!
And then oh no, it's fucking dope as shit, dude. It's fucking dope as shit. And then the other one is more of like a GTA for PC. So that's what I'm playing.
I'm playing pretty much MLB The Show, 2018 still, and Fallout 76. I've been playing the beta for the last couple weeks.
There's a Fallout 6 beta.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't play any fighting games anymore. Haven't really.
By the way,
I'll
Mark,
play.
Oh well, but actually, Ben, that leads me to a topic. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but we don't get many suggestions. This was a good one. Why does the fighting game community and fighting games in general seem so stale? Is what B for Bombs asked.
good. I'm gonna let you start with that one. I have my answer, but go ahead.
Or Jim.
No, Visor, you start.
Well, I think we talked about it a couple nights ago, and I think people are stale now. The fighting games in general stale. It's a combination of the games being not that they lack a, and I'm gonna use Street Fighter V as an example since it's the one in the front, but it lacks of tension. It lacks something like it. The whole point of the match feels like it's a race to get V trigger, and it's just that's it. It's not even like you don't even blow your load. It's just whatever. It's a combination of people playing now are. I don't want to cheer any of them on. I don't want to boo against any of them. I don't want to cheer any of them. I don't care. And it is always an old adage, and it kind of bring up auto racing or pro wrestling. A better example is if they're not cheering or booing, you're fucking trash. You're fucking trash. It's not fun to watch. It's not. You don't have people. You don't have real like organic grudge matches building up. You don't have none of that. They're all trying to be this like fucking like shitty ass League of Legends like esports shit with this Capcom Pro Cup, and then you have like this weird fake ass shit that Jabali pulls off every year in CEO. You don't have anything building up. Like when that whole, as much as he's a fucking retard, Fnatic, God, the name is escaping me right now, had that money match, the $50,000 money match or what. People went fucking nuts for that. People went fucking crazy. There's no fucking character to any of these motherfuckers. The only character you have is a fucking furry. Like Sonic Fox is the only thing.
Jesus.
It's fucking terrible. I would rather watch fucking some sort of rerun with my wife about This Is Us or some shit than watch a fighting game stream right now. It is absolute trash. The fucking players are not as good as they think they are, and they're fucking boring. I would rather do 1,000 other things than watch a fucking fighting game stream right now because everything is shit. You take shit in one hand, you take shit in the other hand, and you smack it together. That's what you got in the fighting game community right now. Just shit upon shit. It's not interesting. It is literally the worst timeline, and I hope they all fucking die and burn in hell.
Jesus.
Fuck them.
V-Goat. V-Goat.
What? Are you speaking English? English
speaking. I know what he's saying.
It's deaf English, bro.
I know, is.
Fuck that.
You know how it's bad? Like, I know exactly what he was saying. I could see how you were confused, but I was like, oh, I know exactly what he's saying. Like, okay, cool. Is.
I said, what you said was very good.
It's all not very good. That was the whole point of the whole thing.
I know. Jesus Christ. So anyway, so I'll just say the fighting game community is fucked because all the games are bad. all the games are bad, and all the people that are really good at the bad games are bad people. That's the easiest way. Like there's no charisma.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you really want to talk into. It's a lot of fake hype. The games suck. They're not fun. So if you put on top of the fact that your best players are not appealable or not entertaining if they are,
Yeah.
then what the fuck? You're not gonna grow. So all of us are bored of it. Plus, I mean, the other thing to consider is we're all getting older, especially people that listen to alphaism stuff. Jesus Christ, we're old as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
We've done this. I've been doing this show with Ben for well over a decade. And that's something to consider. Like maybe we're just, bored of the new shit. Or we don't like it. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, some of the, I think even though I didn't like the games as much, like some of the more fun times in like the last 10 years or whatever, I would say, about 10 years is times where I've had people that were just completely reviled. Like Filipino Champ, even though he was kind of a piece of shit, he at least made things like not boring.
Yeah, he was the fish god.
Yeah, and he was the heel that we all needed. Like he enjoyed it. He enjoyed all that shit. He ran with it. You don't have that. You don't have the conflict. You just have a bunch of rats running in a maze. I mean, it's just you need to have some sort of dynamic, and there's no dynamic. There's these people clicking buttons to get money. And it's just there's not that fire. I mean, like I said, the only fighting game stuff I actually have sat down and watched in the last year has all been Tekken. It has. I don't even, and I'm classically I don't know shit about Tekken, but it's more interesting to watch, and it's more interesting to see than Street Fighter by bar none. It's not even close. And that's not saying much.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But that's what's sad is because I'm a Tekken player and I've defended the shit out of Tekken for many years. This game is scrub faggotry trash. Like this is not a good Tekken game. This game is garbage. This is a bottom 3 Tekken game. And if you don't think that and you consider yourself a real Tekken player that has actually lived through all these, then you're always trash.
Yeah,
this is a bad game. This is a bad game. This is not
I don't
good.
know shit about it, but like I said, in comparison.
Yeah, but I'm agreeing with you, and then but you're not talking out of your ass like you are better than you think you are. Like I don't know. Like this is to anybody that actually competed in Tekken games. Like this is if you can defend this game, you got problems. Like compared to other ones.
I've been looking at games like the games lately as someone who stepped away from it and does not have an interest in pursuing it deeper.
Yeah, just more
fresh eyes. Trying to see if there's anything to these, and I for the most part, no. There's not. There's really
and like Soul Calibur comes out, I'm not going to play a game where it has a button to block, and then you can modify your reptile to have a 76-inch dick.
Jason, you laugh about that, but I would love to play the movie compared to any other Street Fighter 5.
I won't money match any of you in that game.
Come see my Miguel Nunez Jr. son. I'm just saying.
No,
I'm just saying. But anyways, like, yeah, I would like the most fun I had was at Evo. I didn't even watch Final Day. I got drunk and was like, on Finals Day, I was drunk and trying to just yell at shit, just random shit, beach balls, fucking folding chairs. I was yelling at random shit. That was my entire Finals Day. Before then, like. The other 2 days, I would literally just play old games like Alpha 2, Alpha 3, Super Turbo, stuff like that. But I didn't enter. Like, I have no interest in giving people money to play a shitty game. Like, I don't. Like, it makes no sense. There's nothing appealing about it. And I've been a pretty forgiving on a lot of shit when it comes to that. Uh, oh, that's a good story. I would like to tell that story eventually, but
All right, guys, sorry to interrupt. I hear my kid. It's 1, so I'm gonna just pop off. It's
Yeah.
good talking to you.
it's
But I gotta bounce though. So Ben, if you want to do another one tomorrow and we'll talk about other stuff, that's cool too. But I gotta go for now.
All right, man. And yeah, so I guess I'll give my opinion on our next podcast.
Yeah, I gotta head to bed too because I got a 16-hour day tomorrow.
Sounds fun. Oh, thanks you guys. Have a great night.
Hey,
Thanks,
remember,
guys. Bye bye.
Fuck them. Just remember that. Fuck them.
Yo, listen to that Dale Earnhardt Jr. podcast.
I will.